The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Where do the Jets go at quarterback after Dante Moore went back to school? We'll talk with Jets insider Nick Faria about that and much more. Plus, a new DC candidate has arrived for the Jets. We'll break that one down for you. It's the Jake Asman Show on a Football Friday. Let's hit it and get it started.
I let the organization down, and I let the players down, and that burns me. It really does. This season's on me, and we're going to work our ass off to get this shit exactly where it needs to be.
A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. We are presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Happy Friday. Hit the like button and make sure you are a subscriber to the channel. I want to thank everyone who continues to tune in to our daily content. If you're new around here, we're live every day in the 10 a.m. hour and the 4 p.m. hour Eastern time, talking all things New York Jets. We're at 43,638 total subscribers. Our goal is to get to 44K, then 45K, and eventually 50K as we move along. So thanks to everyone who's been along for the ride for this many years now. We've been talking about the New York Jets. Let's say hello to our guy, Nick Faria, who covers the Jets for JetsXFactor.com. Nick, happy Friday. The New York Jets season is officially over. First time we've had you on since then, and certainly a ton of topics to get into. Hope you're doing well.
Of course. We're great to be back on. Apologies for last week. Flu-like symptoms, not pretty at all. But we're back. We're 100% and we're ready to roll.
So let's start with some news that broke this afternoon. It was first reported by Joe Shad, confirmed by Jeremy Fowler, as you see on the screen there, of ESPN. The Jets have requested an interview. In fact, they didn't just request, they've already completed the interview with Dolphins defensive backs coach Mathieu Araujo. He interviewed for the job today, according to Jeremy Fowler. So your thoughts on this? He's now the second known candidate for this job. We know they requested to speak with Daronte Jones as the Vikings passing game coordinator and DB coach. So of the known candidates, we have two DB coaches, plus there's mutual interest reportedly in former Giants and Ravens DC, Wink Martindale. So your thoughts on this latest one before we talk about the search in general?
This is about a focus, trying to find the right guys that fit Aaron Glenn's expectations of what he wants on defense. And what does he want on defense? He wants to play man coverage. He wants to bring the blitz. That's kind of why Wink Martindale's name has been sort of a logical conclusion from the very beginning. A guy that plays heavy man, plays pretty much heavy run blitzes. You try to get after the quarterback as quickly as possible with as many disguised blitzes as you can. This guy here, Araujo, apologies on the pronunciation. I'm terrible with names. I do think there's some merit to his candidacy. The Dolphins' secondary last year was supposed to be an absolute pathetic wasteland. Storm Duck was their number one corner. And I did think they played pretty respectably throughout the season, despite the lack of talent, despite the lack of names in that room. I thought they played a little bit better than people expected. So there is some merit to this. But I will say it's only the second candidate. This is not going to be two candidates and they make a decision. This is going to be a drawn-out process. They do not need to make a hire right now. They still have a couple of weeks before we really feel like they need to have a clear-cut understanding of who they want running their defense. Do I think that they're going to go out and get the top defensive coordinator on the open market? No, I don't think where Aaron Glenn is as a coach, where the expectations are, I don't think a Jonathan Gannon or a Brian Flores is coming here. Do I think that they can get a quality candidate? Absolutely, especially with 2 first-round picks, 4 picks in the top 50. This defense is going to look a lot different next season due to the large cap space, due to the draft capital. It's just a matter of waiting to see where they go. And I do still think that Martindale is a legitimate guy for the role, and they have to interview a lot of these other guys, trying to find a diamond in the rough, if you will, see if you can get a quality candidate. But they're going to do their due diligence. They interviewed however many coaches they interviewed for the head job last year. I think we could be seeing at least quite a few more names within the next couple of weeks.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because the Jets just released their interviews they already completed for this job, the first round of interviews. So here we go, some breaking Jets news.
Breaking sports news on the Jake Asman Show.
The Jets have announced the following interviews that have been completed for the open DC role. We just talked about Mathieu Araujo. They also interviewed Ephraim Banda, DeMarcus Covington, Chris Harris, who obviously was the interim DC after Wilkes was fired, Daronte Jones, Wink Martindale, Jim O'Neill, and Jimmy Leonhard. Former Jet Jim Leonhard did, in fact, take an interview with his old team. That would be my preference. I'd give Glenn a lot of credit if you were able to get an up-and-coming guy like Jim Leonhard to actually take this job. The last time they were able to bring in a coach from the Sean Payton staff, it turned out to be the best coach Glenn hired a year ago in Chris Banjo. So give us your reaction to this, Nick. We knew two of the names, really three if you count Wink. He is officially interviewed according to the Jets. So this is the first round of interviews here, and we have a total of 8 names on the screen. Give us your breakdown.
I think the obvious choice most fans will want is Leonhard because of his experience, because of the job that he's done out in Denver. But I would also pump the brakes of people expecting him to come here just because he's a former Jet. He is a very coveted defensive mind. The Jets will not be the only team to interview him during this process. They will not be the only team that tries to bring him into the fold. You look at the New York Giants. His name's been tied to that defensive coordinator role. You look at the Dallas Cowboys. I'm sure they will have an interest. Keep an eye on Minnesota if Brian Flores leaves. I think Leonhard could be a fit there as well. So there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be interested in the former safety. It's just a question of, can Aaron Glenn kind of pitch that, listen, you're a former Jet, help me fix this defense and move forward like that. Of all the names here, Leonhard's probably the most popular. The name that people aren't going to like is Wink Martindale because of the mixed results over the last couple of years, both with the Giants and at Michigan. But he's clearly got the most experience out of any of them. He's called plays before. He's been able to develop some talent. And when he has the talent around him, he actually can be quite successful. That first year with the Giants, they forced a lot of turnovers. I thought they actually did a pretty good job considering they did not have a quality cornerback. They got rid of James Bradbury the minute he walked in, and Bradbury had a very good season in 2022. So I look at Martindale as probably the most experienced. I know that a lot of these other guys, Covington, Daronte Jones, Jim O'Neill, they're very well respected. It's just a matter of finding the right fit for what Aaron Glenn needs, a guy that can call plays, formulate a scheme that fits how he wants his defense to play, but then also improve on the talent that he's going to have at his disposal.
Want to run through the bios of each of the candidates. Again, if you're just tuning in, some breaking news. The Jets have officially released their first round of DC interviews. According to the Jets official post on their website announcing this, these interviews were completed over Zoom, and this was the first round. So Araujo spent 4 seasons with the Dolphins after coaching 7 years in the college ranks. He most recently, of course, was one of their DB coaches. Banda, that would be Ephraim Banda. He coached the Browns safeties from 2023 to 2025. Gives you some stats on some of the successes they've had. He also looks like he was a college guy. Before that, he was at the University of Miami. He was at Utah State before that, so he's been around. Covington, 36 years old, was hired as the Packers D-line coach and run game coordinator last February after he spent 8 seasons with the Patriots from 2017 to 2024, including one as the DC in 2024. So Covington was the DC on Gerard Mayo's staff. That ought to really inspire a ton of Jet fans right there. Chris Harris, we know, was the interim. Let's look at Daronte Jones. We know a little bit about him. He was with Minnesota most recently. He was there for 5 years. He has the DB coach, and he was also their passing game coordinator for the last 3. Jim Leonhard, Jet fans, we know him well. One of the smartest and most intellectually solid football players I think the Jets have had. Just always made plays, reliable. Mike Westhoff had a famous line about him when the Jets used him on punt returns. He could catch a punt in a hurricane. That's how much the Jets trusted him back there. So Jim Leonhard, 43. He's in his second season with Denver. He's in his first there as the defensive pass game coordinator / assistant head coach. We know the Broncos defense is obviously outstanding. Wink Martindale, 65, most recently with the University of Michigan as their DC. They don't talk about anything he accomplished there because he sucked. It just mentions that he has 2 decades of NFL coaching experience. O'Neal, I've got to be honest, I'm not familiar with Jim O'Neal. He's a Lions guy. He was hired as the Packers D-line coach / run game coordinator last February after he spent – actually, no, I'm reading the wrong thing here. Hold on. He just completed the second season. This is Jim O'Neal with the Lions, so obviously there was some Glenn overlap after adding safeties to his defensive assistant title. So, of course, he worked with Glenn, and if they hired Jim O'Neal, that will tell me they're going to run the Glenn system that they had in Detroit, and Glenn would obviously be heavily involved. That's at least how I read that one. Because of these names here, only one, besides Chris Harris, who was already on the staff, has actually worked with Aaron Glenn in any capacity. I just taking a quick glance at the information we have on the Jets website.
Yeah, listen, he's looking for a specific kind of coach, someone who can develop young talent, someone who can fit what he wants to do on defense. We talked about Steve Wilks, the reason why he failed as the New York Jets play caller on that side of the ball. And a big part of that is because Wilks was a very zone-oriented coach, and they had very clear problems trying to manage and mesh the man principles from Glenn and the zone principles of Wilks, and it never really took. The defense struggled pretty much from week 1 onward. They did not have a very good season. The development of some of the younger players was very, very poor. The linebackers took a step back. The defensive line did not perform admirably. And, of course, major problems in the secondary. But I do think that some of this is a talent issue. So even if they were to get Jim Leonhard, let's say they're able to hire this guy, it's all about what talent they bring in to help him in this process. I don't know if he's going to be able to take A.Z. Thomas or Tony Adams or whoever they're going to have at safety and mold them into a top 5 defense again. You've got to be given talent in order to be able to work and perform well as a coach. This is a very important offseason for the Jets. You've heard it ad nauseum from pretty much everybody, but a big part of that is bringing in talent that young coaches can work with to develop. It's not just about the hire. It's about what they do after that.
Well, just looking at this list, if we're being honest, this is incredibly uninspiring. But I don't think we should be surprised. Again, I don't find this job to be overly attractive. The coach is considered to be on the hottest of seats going into year 2. The defense was historically awful. You are a bad start away from everyone feeling like the entire coaching staff could get wiped out, with Glenn being gone at the end of the season if he makes it there. So getting off to a good start is paramount for the Jets in 2026. Of the interviews here, I think the only name that would really excite fans is Jim Leonhard. Again, maybe one of these guys emerges. It's not like we were celebrating and lauding Chris Banjo the second he was hired, but I have a funny feeling this ends up with Jim O'Neal getting the job because Glenn's comfortable with them, and we'll hear a lot about how they're going to be aligned in their philosophy, and Glenn will be more involved in the defense, and he'll go down on his sword, I suppose, if he does it that way. But just based on
if O'Neal's going to be the hire, I would not be surprised because Aaron Glenn kind of teased it already. If he takes more play calling duties moving forward, and he just says, I need someone to help me manage the defense, but I'm going to be the one calling plays. I would not be surprised with this list of names if Glenn is seriously considering taking the reins and just doing it himself. I will say also based off these names, I am a little surprised that Leonhard took the interview. He's one of the top candidates in this cycle for these coordinator jobs. The Jets are not going to be the only ones. And yes, he's a former player.
That's why he took it. I think he did it out of respect to the Jets because they gave him a lot of money as a player.
Yeah, and that's probably the reason, but it's still pretty surprising because there's a lot of better spots for him to go.
Well, here's the thing. He could be offered the Jet DC job and not offered any other DC job, and he might say, you know what, let me go back to Denver for another year rather than go to the Jets where the coach could be fired if we stink. I don't think it's a desirable job. If Glenn gets Jim Leonhard, I will tip my cap and say I was dead wrong. That's a big time hire, but I don't see it.
I don't see it either.
I think we end up with Jim O'Neill. That's my early feel here. Get ready to learn Jim O'Neill, people. So
I said it from the beginning. I still think it's Martindale. I think it's going to be Martindale, and I think it's
let's hire the white Steve Wilkes.
No, he's not the white Steve Wilkes. No.
He wasn't that good he was awful with Michigan, and then he was not good with the Giants.
But he was great with Baltimore. That's the thing.
Not the last year there.
He was far more successful in Baltimore than Steve Wilkes has ever been as a coordinator. Like, objectively. Wilkes did a great job as an interim head coach in Carolina. He had some bright spots, and again, he's a good manager of people. But the success that Martindale had in Baltimore with the talent he had, I think it will be a push there.
4.46 in DVOA 2018 through 2020 in Baltimore. The last year they slipped to 28. He gets fired. Then we get to the Giants, and he was 30-21 in DVOA. He obviously was great those few years with Baltimore. That's a long time ago, though. The last year that Wink Martindale had an elite defense was 2020.
It's all about the players. That 21 Baltimore team got decimated with injuries, if I remember correctly. And I don't think the Giants top corner when they had Wink Martindale as their guy. Who was it? It wasn't, I don't believe it was Adoree Jackson. It was, and Deonte Banks has been an absolute bust of a player well before all these other issues happen. At times you need quality talent. And, as good as some of these coaches are, would Brian Flores be the same? Would he have the same level of success if the Vikings had 10 times less talent than they do on defense right now?
No, but certain coaches are able to show that they know what they're doing.
No denying that.
Like the Vikings players, I thought it was telling after that game on Christmas where they won with Max Brosmer at quarterback. They were lauding Flores for, quote, putting them in positions to make plays. Again, the Jets were never in positions to make plays because even when they had talent, which they did at the beginning of the season, the first 7 games when they were, trying to win, quote unquote, before they traded Sauce and Quinnen, guys were running wide open because they were never prepared. They were just getting out-coached, out-schemed, and that is bad coaching. So, yeah, the Jets clearly need more talent on defense, but I'm supposed to just sit here and think, oh, Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson, Quincy Williams, Jamie Sherwood, these guys just all forgot how to play football. Sauce and Quinnen were not having all-pro years in the first 7 games. They were Jets either.
It's going to come down to a lot of different factors. If gun to my head right now, who do I think is going to be the defensive coordinator? I think it's still probably going to be Martindale.
Wink Martindale would be a hire that will set the stage for the March to Arch to really get underway. Get your shirts now at jakeasman.com. It's what started out as a bit has turned into reality. A couple of people bought shirts in between shows today. Nick, I'll make sure to send you one. Don't worry.
Appreciate it.
We're marching for Arch, people. Let me tell everyone about the raffle prize today. Let's give away a Jets jersey at the end of the show, a Jets Legends jersey. You pick the player you wanted in: Joe Namath, Joe Klecko, Curtis Martin, Wayne Corbett, Darrelle Revis, Nick Mangold, Keyshawn Johnson. Those are your choices. If you want one, make sure you enter the Asmaniac raffle, gift a membership, or send in a $10 super chat or higher to qualify. And I'll tell you what, when you gift, you'll be entered in the daily raffle and the weekly raffle, which will feature this week a signed Garrett Wilson helmet, signed Darrelle Revis helmet, and a signed Chad Pennington helmet. Aria with our first super chat here, and we're going to get to your calls too, as well as the Jets breaking news have just announced 8 interviews for their defensive coordinator job. Aria says, F Dante Moore talk about the confirmed DC interviews, and tell me how we could get Jim Leonhard. All right, what's the selling point of your Aaron Glenn to try and get Jim Leonhard?
Former player, kind of along the same boat of, hey, listen, I did this. I believe I can fix this. Help me turn this Jets organization around. That's the selling point. There's not really a lot of talent on defense to work with. Brandon Stevens being your number 1 corner does not should not excite a lot of coordinators, period. But you do have some quality talent on the interior. Jawan Briggs had a very good season. You have a defensive tackle that you can rely on. You have some edge rushers that probably need a little more development. See what you can do there. And then outside of that, trying to become the defensive coordinator that turns the Jets around. That's the selling point. And then, of course, what is it, $90 million in cap space, 4 draft picks in the top 50. At least 2 of them are probably going to be defensive players. There's stuff here to get excited about, but the list is pretty telling.
Well, I mean, just I good attempt. I give you credit. I don't think it's.
Listen, I'm not sitting here saying that they're going to grab Flores or Gannon and it's going to be perfectly fine here.
It's telling those guys won't even interview though. It really is.
Well, and again, we don't.
Jonathan Gannon's too good to interview for the Jet job. That tells you all you need to know.
I can tell you a full list of what I think about Jonathan Gannon, but that's besides the point.
He's too good to interview for the Jet job.
I mean, he's gonna get he's probably gonna get a look at the Cowboys gig, Minnesota gig. I'm trying to think of all the coordinator roles that are open right now.
What's Rex up to? What's Rex up to? We're gonna be awful this year. Let's have some fun at least.
At what point do we think that Rex is going to go on ESPN and say, listen, I'm ready. If I'll help Aaron Glenn wherever he needs, put me out running this defense?
Well, Rex would obviously do way better than I'm sure a lot of those names we just saw on the screen. There's no chance one Rex, I think, would ever take a DC job at the Jets. His ego wouldn't allow him. No. And there's no way Glenn's ego would allow him to hire Rex. He'd be worried that 1 and 2, here comes Woody down from above, yanking Glenn out, and Rex is the interim head coach.
Oh, God. The problem is I can see it happening. That's like I'm envisioning it, and I'm like, oh, wait, this could actually happen. This could actually happen. This is a disaster.
We'll get to more of your super chats here. We'll talk more about the quarterback situation. But again, we were not expecting to have some breaking news, but the Jets, right as we went live, announced that they completed their first round of interviews over Zoom with 8 candidates here. Wink Martindale and Jim Leonhard are the 2 names that I think fans will recognize the most. Leonard's the only one who I think would be considered by anyone who's not a shill for the team or anyone who's not a hater, just a, non-biased, objective football analyst and say home run hire. Not saying these other guys can't be good. Again, I'm going to give anyone they hire a chance, but this is not exactly the most inspiring list here. But hey, Chris Banjo was their best coach, and none of us really knew who he was. So
I will say, also Banda, the work that he did with Jim Schwartz, I thought was very, very strong. I mean, the Browns defense was just playing at an unbelievable level pretty much all year. The job they did against the Green Bay Packers, Pittsburgh, they had so many games where you looked and said, wow, this Browns defense is for real. That's someone where I would look at and say, okay, he doesn't have experience fully calling plays, at least recently. But he's someone who developed talent in Cleveland and had them playing really good football on the back end. So he's another name, probably an underrated name you look at and say, okay, he's not a well-thought-after guy, but someone who can sneak under the radar, maybe have this team playing a little bit better. Certainly, I think Banda's at the top of that list.
Comments, questions, super chats. Paul Faz, you're the man. You're the first to enter the Asmaniac raffle on this Football Friday. Let's go. A 5 spot of channel memberships. Give him a hug, Woody.
I hug him every day. I hug him every day.
Paul, thank you as always, man. Good to see you last week at our event. Taylor says, why are we so negative on Leonhard taking the job? Come on. I'm negative on them being able to get him to accept the job. I would be incredibly impressed and positive and give Glenn tremendous kudos if he convinced Jim Leonhard to take this job, because I think he'll have other options. In fact, it was reported Harbaugh was interested in speaking with him for the Giants staff. What's a better job? Obviously, it's the Giants job right now, given the stability they're going to have with their coach that they bent over backwards for to get the last week and a half. So I'm just trying to be realistic, Taylor. I think it's a really tough sell. If they get him, I'll be absolutely fired up. But I have a tough time picturing it.
There's also a chance that Vance Joseph gets consideration for a head coaching job, and Leonhard just decides, I'm going to be the defensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos once Joseph leaves. Like, that's also potentially on the table as well. It's going to be a minefield trying to figure out where Leonhard goes, because there are going to be so many teams interested. You look, what's going to happen in Pittsburgh? Could the Pittsburgh Steelers, now that they are sort of reshuffling their entire organization, are they going to have him be the DC? You look at the Baltimore Ravens, they're going to have a new coach. That's certainly on the docket as well. There's talent. There's far more talented defenses that need play callers that fit probably where Leonhard will want to be in his career compared to the Jets. If he's coming to New York, that's because Aaron Glenn gave him a sell he could not refuse. It's an interesting and intriguing thought process. But I have a hard time believing that Leonhard is going to choose here over everywhere else.
Rich Samini with a tweet. Let's break down the candidates in the two categories. Worked previously with Aaron Glenn. That'd be Jim O'Neill, who we mentioned is the current Lions defensive assistant / safeties coach. Previous defensive coordinator experience, that'd be O'Neill. Wink Martindale. Glenn spoke to Martindale a couple of weeks ago. That was when the season, I believe, was either about to end or still going. It was right around that time when we first heard his name. And then Jim Leonhard, obviously, Denver passing game coordinator, only candidate still alive in the playoffs. There's also, I think Leonhard took the interview. One, he's a former Jet. Two, he knows Muji from Denver. So let's not forget that connection. So maybe out of respect to Muji, he took that interview as well. Because Jim Leonhard's a guy that is on the path to being an NFL head coach at some point in his career. He had tremendous success with Wisconsin. He's doing a great job in Denver. He's highly regarded, former player. He's on that path to eventually be an NFL head coach. I don't think he's going to jump at the first chance he has to be the DC of the Jets when the job could go up in flames that the Jets are awful this year.
Yeah. I have a hard time believing Leonhard's going to be the guy. O'Neill, yeah, the Aaron Glenn connection is real. And like I said, maybe you look at it and say, okay, he does have play calling experience, but this could be a hire where Aaron Glenn says, I want control of my defense and I want us to run the defense my way. And that's kind of the hire that allows him to do that. I think that's certainly a possibility.
Some super chats here. Curly wants to know, did Charles London interview for the DC job? He was a running back.
No, he didn't.
How's Charles London doing?
Look, I will say, a lot
Please,
of these
enlighten us.
A lot of these position coaches, I wrote an article about this. A lot of these position coaches, you're not going to see coach got fired. Coach was relieved of duties. They're going to have a list of updated coaching hires, and that's when you're going to find out that they hired whoever is the new quarterback coach. Or that's when you're going to find out that Charles London is not the quarterback coach. It's not going to be in a tweet saying the Jets completely reshuffled the front office, the coaching staff. The quarterback coach is gone. That's not a reshuffle. That is a change of a position coach. It's not going to be this grandiose thing that people are wanting it to be.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Faria is with us, Jets reporter, JetXFactor.com, on the Jets beat, of course, now for the last several years. So if you got a question for him, super chat it. Long Island Jet fan says, if Jim Leonhard does come here and turns out to be a good DC, who says the new head coach does keep him? Again, it is possible, but if you're Jim Leonhard, do you want to bet on that? Or would you rather just wait for the right opportunity to go somewhere where you have more than just a year before you could be fired?
Again, I'm a little surprised he took the interview to begin with. And we talked about it, the connection with Muji, the fact that it's the Jets, a former team, Aaron Glenn, a former player, trying to get him on board with that kind of thought process. Certainly a possibility. But in the long run, if I'm choosing between this job and the Steelers or this job and the Cowboys, this job in Minnesota, I'm going anywhere else but New York.
Ladies and gentlemen, some breaking news from Jets beat reporter Zach Rosenblatt from The Athletic.
Breaking sports news on the Jake Asman Show.
Let me pull up the tweet here and we'll break it down together. Zach saying, quote, notably, the Jets haven't announced any other changes to the defensive coaching staff just yet because Aaron Glenn, I'm told, plans on having the new DC be part of that process. I would anticipate Chris Harris returning, though, and there is a sense that he's a legit DC candidate, though I'd ultimately be surprised if he got the job. If the Jets retain Chris Harris and make him the interim DC and make him now the permanent DC, I cannot wait to say this to you, Nick Faria, with the first pick in the 2027 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Arch Manning, quarterback, Texas.
You better have, if that were to happen, the Jets are going to need to go through an entire organizational restructure again, because there is no way in hell that the Manning family is going to allow the Jets to draft him. It's not happening.
Oh, not with Aaron Glenn as his head coach, but with Mike Tomlin or Kevin O'Connell or someone legitimate, it changes everything.
I don't even know if that's going to do it.
Gary Myers speaks to the Manning family and said that Arch will not do what Eli did. And they actually would like him playing for the Jets because Eli and that whole side of the family still lives in the area, which would be appealing for Arch. That's what Gary Myers said, who talks to the Mannings regularly, as you know.
Listen, all the power to him. I have a very hard time believing if the Jets go 1-15 and they're the number one overall pick and they're bringing in someone with all the problems that they have, that Manning's going to want to come here.
Again.
He could go back to college, too. He could do the exact same thing Dante Moore did.
He could, but the point is there'll be other quarterbacks, if not Arch.
Sure.
Right?
Oh, absolutely. Like Lenore Sellers. You've got a lot of names out there that are going to be it's a far better class right now than this upcoming year.
Yeah, I think we'll cross that bridge, obviously, when we get to it with Arch, but I do think if the Jets had the right setup, he would be a Jet. I truly believe that. Now, let's get to some super chats here again. If you're just tuning in late, the Jets did announce 8 coordinator interviews for the DC role. As of now, we know nothing about any changes to the offensive staff. They're trying to find some offensive assistants, I guess, around Tanner Engstrand, not to replace Tanner Engstrand, but there's been nothing reported on that to this point. Some super chats here. Gator says, sorry about your Eagles. Not really. Are they open to moving Jalen Hurts? And if so, what could you see in a trade considering that ridiculous contract?
Well, it's not really a ridiculous contract if he's the 11th or 12th highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Yeah, that's more of a reflection on how highly paid quarterbacks are. Number one, Jalen Hurts is not getting traded this year. He's a franchise quarterback. Howie Roseman continues to love him. Jeffrey Lurie loves him. Hurts is not getting traded. This idea that he possibly could is a farce. Don't listen to any of it. And a potential trade, Philadelphia's not trading their quarterback for at least a first-round pick. So you better be prepared to part ways with that as well, and potentially even more. This is a Super Bowl MVP. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. The slander that he's gotten because he's been to the playoffs every year as a starting quarterback, I think is probably one of the more laughable things out there in the league right now.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. This one's from Dan, who says, Nick, do you think there's a team in the top 10 that would trade up with the Jets where we could get a haul for it? Next year's first, a second to maybe, question mark.
This isn't the class for it. I mean, last year you had Travis Hunter, and the Jaguars gave an arm and the leg for Travis Hunter. And pretty much everyone from the beginning said that's a lot of capital to give up for a non-quarterback. This draft class, I think, is talented. You've got some talent, especially on defense. You've got some quality receivers as well. But are there blue chip guys that would be top 2, top 3 picks in any other year? I don't really see that at this point. Obviously, you got Caleb Downs, who's really, really good. Avril Reese is obviously a big name. Bain out of Miami. There are names that the Jets are going to be able to target with the second overall pick if Fernando Mendoza is the selection at first overall. But the way I look at it, I don't think there's going to be a team that wants to come up and give up a first-round pick for 2027 in a non-quarterback class.
Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. Oscar writes in, Charles London may get another job before Charles Gorman gets his first job. Dun, dun, dun. Bob writes in, we miss out on everything. We go 10-6 and miss the playoffs. Miss out on Trevor, and this year miss out on head coaches who are available, etc. Bob, I don't want to hear this from you because you're one of the biggest Aaron Glenn bootlickers I see in the chat. So please zip it. Don't have time for your nonsense. On that
coaching
note,
carousels change regularly. And for the most part, a lot of people were saying that this coaching carousel was very underwhelming, and then John Harbaugh got fired. Mike Tomlin is not a part of this cycle. I know every Jets fan loves Mike Tomlin. I'm not one of them, but I know every Jets fan loves Mike Tomlin. He's not in this cycle. It's next year's cycle that could potentially be there.
Right.
So to sit there and say that.
But Stefanski's in this cycle. Cliff Kingsbury's in this cycle.
But also
McCarthy's in this cycle.
But there are reasons why some of these guys got fired in the first place.
There's no perfect coaching candidate, though, but any of them are upgrades over the worst coach in football who's currently the head coach of the Jets.
I'm not debating that. But what I'm saying is a coaching cycle changes from year to year. Just because it doesn't look like a top cycle in 2027 doesn't mean that's going to stay that way. That's my point there.
Hey, don't worry. We've already begun the recruiting for Tomlin. We hired the 69th team, and they're going to be taking care of this one for us, Nick. We got our best people on this. We got Castro and Neal leading the search for Tomlin. We learned yesterday that Mike Tomlin owns a house on the east end of Long Island, not far from where Peter Castro and Neal have homes, and they will be recruiting Mike Tomlin to the New York Jets. So the 33rd team couldn't get it done with Glenn. We're going to hire the 69th team and get it done with Mike Tomlin.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Anyway, Fernando with a super chat. Any relation to Mendoza? Connor Rogers, Joe Blewett. They sold me on Arvell Reese. I am intrigued by Arvell Reese for sure. Nick, let's start talking a little bit about the draft. Your breakdown on pick 2 now with Dante Moore, of course, no longer an option.
Yeah, I'm going to continuously say this. The people that I've spoken to right now continue to push that this is not a strong quarterback class. And everyone who's saying that the Raiders are going to jump to the table and get Fernando Mendoza, I don't know if that's what's going to happen. I think there is still a possibility that they sit there and say, we are not a quarterback away in a division with Bo Nix, Patrick Mahomes, and Justin Herbert. Let's improve the roster around a potential quarterback and then get our guy. I think there is still a chance that Fernando Mendoza falls to 2. Outside of that, if that doesn't happen, then yes, you go best available player. Caleb Downs, Arvell Reese, 2 quality names that the Jets can hitch their wagons on. They could also go after the guy Bain from Miami. You look at Miami right now, the job that they have done on that defense. And the one thing that I've learned over the last couple of years is sometimes you just need to make the pick that is the smartest move possible. Who's the best player available? Is it Reese? Is it Bain? If it's Bain, you run to the table and get him. If it's Reese, you run to the table and get him. We are still way too early in this process to know exactly who the Jets are going to love at this point. We've got the Senior Bowl. We've got the Combine, Pro Days, workouts. All these things still need to happen. It's still very, very early in this process to make a definitive point of where they're going to go. This is going to take time, but there are plenty of players in this draft for the number 2 pick that is going to be an immediate plug and play with the expectation that they could be all-pro talents for this Jets future.
Again, there's no way you think that Fernando Mendoza is actually not going to go number 1.
I think there's a chance that, listen, people were saying Matt Ryan was going to go first overall in 2008, and then Jake Long was the pick in Miami. And the Dolphins had a horrific quarterback room before Chad Pennington came in, and Pennington came in August. Like, that was a late quarterback acquisition. They could have had Matt Ryan. They chose not to. There are plenty of examples throughout NFL history of teams understanding we're not a quarterback away. Let's take an offensive lineman. Let's take the best defensive player and go from there. We also don't know who the Raiders coach is going to be. If they get a defensive-minded coach who says, I want to build this team the right way, they may bypass a quarterback. It would not shock me, to say the least, because Mendoza is not the clear-cut, oh my God, drop dead, this is the top quarterback of the last 5 years kind of prospect.
Yeah, but what are their options if they don't take him at 1? Like, he's the guy. Like, there's no other quarterback for them.
I think there's a possibility. Again, way too early in the process to say that, because I do think that there's going to be a push later on for Ty Simpson. I do think
to go number 1.
No. What I'm saying is if they like Simpson more, maybe they trade out. Maybe they say, you know what, let's just push off that conversation altogether and try to accumulate as many picks as possible. That could be a possibility. There's other quarterbacks in this class that could be available for teams. Simpson, Chambliss. You've got a couple of older seniors, Clay Kubnick. You got kid from Miami. What's his name? Carson Beck. These guys that are going to have some gravitas towards them from some scouts, they're going to get a look at this. And while I do think Mendoza is the clear-cut number 1 quarterback in this class, would he be the number 1 quarterback in the class last year or the year prior or the year before that?
He might be in front of Cam Ward. He might be. I've heard people say he would be. 2 years ago, probably not. Probably not in front of Caleb, May, or Jaden.
Point being, there's a long way to go before any decision gets made. We don't know who the Raiders are going to hire. And I would not be surprised with all the needs they have on that roster if they say, we're not a quarterback away. We're not going to throw them in the middle of a fire when we don't have an offensive line figured out. let's build the team before we get the quarterback.
Nick, we have to bring up this amazing tweet you had. As everyone's watching Mendoza carve up the Oregon Ducks, you tweeted last Friday at 8:54 p.m., I think it's far more likely the Raiders take the Miami tackle first overall than any QB. Fully believe Mendoza will be there for the Jets at 2, regardless how this game ends. I immediately saw that and responded to you and wrote, you on crack or cocaine? Paul Fiore, who was on my first show today, says, Nick is drunk, everyone. Nick from U Stadium wrote, yo, are you on drugs? And the great Kenny Scarabaccio wrote in, did somebody hack Nick's account? So you still believe Mendoza could be there at 2? You really believe that?
I think there's absolutely a possibility. Again, NFL history shows it. There are teams that just look at themselves, and that, again, depends on who they hire for the head coach. If they hire an offensive guy who
Brady's not turning down Mendoza to take some lineman or
are we sure Brady's in love with any of these quarterbacks in the class? Like, we assume that's the case.
He loves Mendoza. Mendoza grew up idolizing Brady.
Yes. So just because you idolize him doesn't mean they're going to pick him right away.
I hope you're right. Problems. All right, so let's go down this path then. If you're the Jets and you love Mendoza, what are you willing to give up to try and get up one spot?
I would probably give up a 2027 first and then an additional second.
So one of the 2s this year, right? Let's say it's
so 2, probably 33, and then probably the highest available pick in the first round in 2027. So probably their own in 2027.
Well, you could structure it where they would, like, same thing that Muji did with the Cowboys, is the better of the picks.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's probably where I'd go. I would, and again, it depends on what the Jets love about him the most. If they feel like his ceiling is Matt Ryan, then maybe you have that borderline first round pick potentially. But that's still a hefty price to pay for a quarterback that, while I still think is a really good prospect, is not a clear-cut, this guy's going to walk in and change your franchise kind of player.
Excellent question from Frank. He goes, how much did Woody pay you, Nick, to sell tickets?
I sell with what? I've said from the beginning, I'm not a big fan of the interview process for DC. I don't know what you want me to sell here. There's not much here.
Jordan says, I hate people like Nick who only think the Jets can only be awful. Arch would come here with a good coaching staff, good O-line, and good offensive weapons.
I mean, the Chargers had LaDainian Tomlinson, and Eli Manning still said no.
Because they were going to play at a soccer stadium. This is New York, baby. He wants to be near Uncle Eli.
Okay. All right.
We'll see. We'll see. He's got
an extra year of eligibility. It would not surprise me if Arch says, I'm going to wait another year, just like his uncle did in, what was it, 98?
Yeah, but the waiting another year is this year. He's not going back for a senior year.
Maybe.
Mickey says, call me crazy. I want Mac Jones, and I kind of like that he's a bit of a douche. Our QBs are always mopey and soft. Give me a guy who punches opponents nuts.
Well, everyone was so angry at me when I suggested Kyler Murray a couple of months ago. And again, Kyler Murray is probably the top veteran quarterback that's going to be available for teams going into it. Do I think that the Raiders could also be in on Kyler? Absolutely. And that certainly changes the conversation at quarterback as well. But it's a wait-and-see game. Mac Jones is going to be a question mark. Tanner McKee is going to have his name tied to it. Kyler, there's going to be a lot of veteran quarterbacks that are going to potentially be moved that the Jets will have some interest in.
The Rooster says, if Mendoza throws 3 picks versus Miami, who knows what happens? You saw what a bad game did to Moore in the House of Public Opinion. I suppose, but I just think Mendoza has kind of emerged as the top guy in a perceived 1 QB draft as far as the top quarterbacks at the top. I could see Simpson going round 1. I think he will. And if Trinidad Chambliss comes out, the desperation for teams at quarterback, he also could end up going in the first round. That's just how this goes.
I think you're going to have a situation where Simpson will go top 15, and I think Chambliss could be late 20s, but probably an early second-round pick to begin with.
Veteran Jet fan says, need Mendoza to be in some sort of crack pipe scandal to go second. Maybe Nick can give Mendoza some of his crack. Would you be willing to give Mendoza some of your crack to orchestrate a ploy to get him to drop the number 2?
I don't do any of that stuff. I absolutely not. I disavow that entire comment. And quite frankly, if I'm just going to say this, guys, long way to go before the NFL draft. If we get to a point where the Raiders take the Maui Goa, or they go defense, or they trade out, you will never hear the end of it from me if I end up being right about this. That's all I'm going to say.
Believe me, from your lips to God's ears, if you're right and Mendoza's there for the Jets, be giddy. And please share some of that crack with Boomtown. He really wants one. You ship to Canada. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll get to your calls. We're presented, of course, by FanDuel Sportsbook. If you're betting on any of the football games this weekend, do it with FanDuel. Nick, give us your feel for the games Saturday. That's tomorrow, of course. And the games on Sunday. Who are the two teams that will meet in each conference in the title games?
Yeah, it's not going to be good for Jet fans because it quite clearly looks like Buffalo and New England are going to win on the AFC side. I think also this is Buffalo's year. It has to be Buffalo's year. If Josh Allen's going to win a Super Bowl, it's got to be this year. No Mahomes, no Lamar. There's no excuse why he can't walk into Denver and beat the Broncos and then walk into Foxborough and beat the Patriots. I do think that the Texans defense makes this game a lot closer. But do I think the Houston Texans are going to walk into Foxborough and beat the New England Patriots? No, I don't. Nico Collins isn't going to go. I think it's going to be Buffalo and New England on the AFC. On the NFC side, I do think it's going to be probably the weirdest, wackiest matchup possible, and that's probably the Rams and the 49ers. I don't trust the Bears in a big playoff game like this with the Rams and their pedigree, and I don't trust Sam Darnold. So I do think it'll be Rams and 49ers that come out on top.
Comments, questions, super chats, they cut the line. Nick, if we get Bills Patriots in the AFC title game, I need Bane to blow up the field like he did in Dark Knight Rises, all right?
It's look, you look at what's going on with the Jets right now, and God clearly has an axe to grind. I'm not really sure why. And it would make a lot of sense for Buffalo to walk into Denver and upset the top seed, and the Patriots in their first year of a rebuild with a new coach comes in and they get to the conference championship. That would not surprise me one bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Faria is our guest. If you have a question for him, write it in. We opened the show with the breaking news that the Jets interviewed 8 candidates for their defensive coordinator role. These were over Zoom. Aaron Glenn will wheedle down this list, and then we will have some in-person interviews coming up. The most notable name, Jim Leonhard and Wink Martindale. Wink, not very good. Jim Leonhard is good, and he's a former Jet. He'd be the popular choice amongst the fans. My early prediction, Jim O'Neill, who coached with Glenn in Detroit, because Glenn's going to have more involvement in the defense, and that'll be a narrative and storyline we'll talk about ad nauseum, I'm sure, over the summer at training camp. But that's my early feel for this. Chat, what say you? Give us your thoughts on where we're at with the defensive coordinator search. Nick, let's talk a little more about the quarterbacks, and then we'll let you run. So we know no Dante Moore. The Jets now have a litany of options with that second pick. Before we even get to the draft, though, free agency will have occurred. What in your best guess is the plan to try and figure out the quarterback room going into the draft? Who are some of the guys you think the Jets are going to seriously consider?
I think you're going to see a kind of similar boat to what the Seahawks had after Matt Hasselbeck. So it was they signed Matt Flynn to a lucrative free agent contract, and then they drafted Russell Wilson and said, that's our quarterback room. We'll let everyone compete. They turned out to be one of the best decisions they ever made because Russell Wilson won a Super Bowl for them, went to multiple Super Bowls, and was a Pro Bowl, all-pro caliber player. I do think that they're going to bring in a veteran. Does that mean Kyler Murray? Certainly on the table. Do I think that it could be Tanner McKee? Absolutely. I think Malik Willis will get a look as well. I think if I were a betting man right now, wild guess of what things are going to look like, I would predict it's probably going to be Kyler, and then they'll draft a guy. If they can get to Ty Simpson at 16, they'll take him. If they can get to the second round and it's Chambliss, I think they'll take him as well. I think they're going to draft a quarterback within the first 40 picks of this upcoming draft. The question is which one's going to be available to them in their particular spot. Again, as I said, Mendoza is also still on the table as well at 2. So it's going to be a wait-and-see game. I do see them picking up a veteran, probably Kyler right now. I know his name has been tied to the Jets for a little bit. It's been that way for a few months. Certainly someone that I think could come in and be the starter for next season and try to save Aaron Glenn's job. Do I think it'll be enough? Who knows?
Who knows? Love that. What's up with you in the dark, by the way?
Yeah, it's just the light. My light is further ahead, but we've got the computer light going. If I need to turn on some lights as well, I will.
I was gonna say, like, you like the darkness. You're like Bane. You were molded by it.
Listen, I love the darkness. I'll work in the dark my entire life. It's just a matter of sun going down. It happens.
Jay says, why would Leonhard choose to work for AG? Jay, please rewind to the beginning of the episode, and we went in depth about why or why not. In fact, Nick pretended he was Aaron Glenn. We did a little role play you can actually watch on YouTube, and it's not illegal. And Nick played the role of Aaron Glenn trying to pitch Jim Leonhard why he should take the job with the Jets. So if that interests you, rewind to the beginning of the episode.
Did my best.
Yeah, you did a great job. You really did. Veteran Jets fan says, Faria in a crack house. Is this true?
No, still in my apartment, but just got to just turn on some lights eventually. We'll get to it.
Very nice. Shooter with a super chat. He's in the raffle for 2. He writes in, the fact nobody is crapping on the Raiders is really starting to bug me. # March for Arch. # the 69th team. Your thoughts on nobody crapping on the Raiders, Nick?
Well, I actually do think there's some merit to these complaints because if you look at what the Raiders have been for the last 20 years since Gruden first left, it's been an absolute pathetic mess. They've won, one playoff game, 2 playoff games since Gruden left in 2001. They can't develop a quarterback to save their life. Their roster, I would argue, is probably weaker in almost every aspect compared to the New York Jets. Outside of Max Crosby, what do they have? They don't have an offensive line. It's one of the worst in football. They don't have a receiving core. You've got Ashton Genty, but he's running behind a terrible offensive line. The pick of Genty from the beginning was a mistake because they didn't have the line to protect him. If the Raiders were smart, they would have taken Armand Membu, but they didn't. They let him fall to the Jets, and they are absolutely better for it because that offensive line looks better than it has in over a decade. So I look at it from the perspective of people want to make fun of the Jets because it's really easy to make fun of the Jets, but the Las Vegas Raiders are an absolute mess of an organization. They have 5 different coaches they still have to pay. They're in a new cycle to begin with. They can't find anyone. Tom Brady's come in, but has he done anything really to save them? Absolutely not. So to me, the Raiders are just as much of an embarrassment as the Jets. No one wants to talk about it, though, because they have the first overall pick and they think that that's a lock for Mendoza, even though he's not really the quarterback to hitch your wagon to without an offensive line in front of him.
I think that's well said. I think the biggest issue the Jets have, though, is that, well, yes, the Raiders have also been bad. They do have Brady, so he's the golden boy. And specifically, the Jets have been such an easy target for so long because, they're the one team that has constantly been bad for 15 straight years.
But so have the Raiders, too. The Raiders had one good year, one playoff team, and they got bounced in the first round.
Still, it's a different perception of them than the Jets. It just is.
And I don't think it's very fair because the Raiders, quite frankly, if we talk about a team from 2001 to now, the Jets went to 2 conference championship games. They've upset Peyton Manning and Tom Brady during that span, while the Raiders haven't won a playoff game since that time frame. They've been just as much of an embarrassment. They can't develop a quarterback. They make bad decisions left and right, and that's part of the reason why I look and say, are we sure that the Raiders are going to take Mendoza? This is the same team that with the top choice at receiver, instead of taking a guy like CeeDee Lamb or Jerry Jeudy, he took Henry Ruggs. And a chance between Jeremy Maclin and Michael Crabtree in 2008, 2009, they took Darius Hayward-Bay. This is not a smart organization. And to think that they're just going to magically make the right decision, I think is a fallacy.
All fair. I'm just telling you how people view the Raiders.
I completely get it. I just don't think it's fair to Jet fans that they're perceived in a worse way when the Raiders have been even worse.
Alfredo's a Raiders fan. He says Henry Ruggs was balling before the accident.
Right. I like
Henry Ruggs was a tanking legend in 2020. He's the guy that caught the touchdown pass against rookie Lamar Jackson when Greg Williams sent the Kachunga blitz to keep the dream 0-16 season alive for the Jets.
CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy. Those were the top 2 receiver names coming out that year. And the Raiders said, well, Al Davis really loved speed, and that's our guy. We need speed. We don't need guys who can actually win consistently. We need speed.
I just think Brady's going to take Mendoza, though. I don't think it's going to hold up.
I don't know if Brady's going to fall in love with him enough, because I do think that there are red herrings to his play. His ability under pressure. What does he look like in the pocket when another team is blitzing? It's not all pretty. Mendoza is my favorite class, my favorite quarterback of this class. But there are red herrings here that look and say, that's not number 1 pick material if that's the case. And yeah, Brady could be in love with him, but if SpyTech goes and says, listen, we don't have the offensive line for him, I don't know if that's the right pick for that franchise.
Hey, huge shout out to Thomas Beckwith, who just bought a March for Art shirt. If you buy one when I'm live, we will add you to the raffle for 5. So Thomas, I got you down. Thank you for supporting the store. We got you in the Asmaniac raffle. Excellent, excellent job. Also, want to shout out Sean Barber, who bought a shirt before the show started. Sean, we got you accounted for as well. Appreciate all of you guys for enjoying the shirts. I'm excited to get one myself. Nick, I know you'll be rocking it around Aaron Glenn. He's going to love it. So it's going to be very exciting. Niall writes in, Jim Leonhard, back-to-back injuries I didn't forget. So what's the point of this tweet? You don't like Jim Leonhard because he got hurt? He was an outstanding player for the Jets during their most recent run of success. So I don't really get the point of the super chat here.
Yeah, I'm kind of at a loss.
Anyway, Nick, let me end with one question for you, and I'll ask you this question many times from now until the NFL draft. The New York Jets at pick 2 and pick 16 select.
I am going to double down, as they say. They're going to take Fernando Mendoza with the 2nd overall pick, and they're going to take Mekhi Lemon with the 16th overall pick.
Wow. It just went from 6 to midnight in every Jet fan's pants.
I'm doubling down on it. Listen, it's a long way to go. We have the Senior Bowl, we've got the Combine, Pro Days. We've got a long way to go before any pick is really set in stone. And again, this is my prediction, so screw you if you don't like my prediction. If I'm right, you have no idea how annoying I can be.
We all hope you're right. We really do. Oregon Jet says you sound like a Glenn bootlicker.
I don't think Jake, tell me, do I feel like I've been defending Aaron Glenn too much today?
I don't know. You kind of remind me of some of these bootlickers.
Well, he's a bootlicker, Glenn Butt Sniffer, putting perfume on a pig and telling Jake, check his out. He's a bootlicker, Aaron Glenn truther, holding that rope and trying to sell us on this shit show.
I don't know what I could possibly have said that sounds like an Aaron Glenn defense right now. I mean, it's just honest analysis, man.
I enjoy your analysis, and I hope you're right with your bold prediction there at the end. Nick, you have a tremendous weekend. Glad we could finally get you back on the show. Glad you're feeling better, and I'm sure you and I will text and catch up soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, buddy.
Nick Faria with us there. Good stuff from him. Hey, quick reminder, join the Patreon if you haven't. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. When you join, you'll get a promo code to use in the merch store for 20% off every item in the store, including the March for Arch t-shirts. And if you also join the Patreon, you get access to our Discord. I want to shout out Jay Enrile, Andrew Malia, Ted Ruggiero, and Ken O'Connell for being our most recent Patreon subscribers. We update the list of names every month, so keep that in mind as well. We're going to get to your calls right now. I'm excited about this first caller. He has called in for the first time in the year 2026. That's right, the first call for this guy, ladies and gentlemen. It's time.
Hi, everybody. This is Bob from Vermont. I am Bob, of course.
Hi, Jake. How you doing?
Bobby, miss you, man, but that beard looks tremendous.
Oh, I'm gonna shave it soon now.
Ah, why not? Grow it out.
Well, I got good news on my toe. I got take 1 or 2 more weeks to get the shoe on, then I could take it off.
All right, that's good news.
And Facebook told me your brother's birthday today, so I want to sing him happy birthday.
It is his birthday. We talked about it earlier on the show. His birthday is on the 15-year anniversary today of the Can't Wait game where the Jets beat the Patriots in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. I remember that game, yes. Zach, I'm going to sing happy birthday to you. I Facebooked you today, too, so I hope you're having a great birthday, okay?
Bobby, I hope you're having a great week, all right?
Well, Michael's sick. He got pneumonia again.
Oh, no. He tried to call in earlier.
Oh, today?
Yeah, we were having some connection issues.
Oh, yeah. I got to get my fat ass over there to get... No, I'm doing good.
You have quite the ass.
Oh, yeah, I do. But, yeah. All right, so let's sing your brother's a song today.
All right. Whenever you're ready.
Can you get me full screen?
Okay, here we go.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Zach. Happy birthday to you. And I hope you have a wonderful day. How's that?
It's tremendous. I really felt the passion.
So I'm a happy camper today, too. You know why?
Why?
Who did the Giants sign today?
Well, I think it was yesterday. John Harbaugh.
Yeah, a thumbs up.
Yeah.
And can I ask you, who is his OC? I think somebody told me the wrong one.
Todd Monken.
Okay. Wasn't he in college one time, too?
He used to be with Georgia.
Yeah, and doesn't he have like a brother that coaches Army?
That's correct.
That's a brother, right?
I believe so.
Or they're relatives, one of the two. Yeah. So I went, you know who did my toe surgery?
Do I know who did your toe surgery? No, I don't.
Your friend's brother.
Ah.
Dr. Connie.
Yeah.
He's a very nice guy, I tell you. He got a little pedo about my little other hole I had after the surgery. So.
Oh, yeah, you got a lot of holes.
That's why it's taken a longer time, but they say 2 more weeks, 1 or 2 more weeks. It looks good. I went to the doctor on Tuesday. He looked at, much better now. So I can't wait to get this shoe off. Then I'm going to try to get a part-time job. Still looking for that. Ooh.
Exciting stuff, Bob.
Yeah, well, I'm a little calmer than New Year's Eve, huh?
Yeah, you're a lot more calm. I was very confused why you were so upset. That was Beth Ryan. That wasn't you.
Well, no, it looked like me. And I'm so happy I'm third quarter of the month of December. And that video Gator made is tremendous.
The top rankings are out.
No, I'm telling you about the video we played. Like
I know. The monthly power rankings were released for members only. You came in. I don't want to spoil it for everyone else, but you came in at number 3.
Yeah, I already told everybody that. But he, some of those videos I didn't like. So, just watch your P's and Q's. Okay, thank you.
You have an issue with Gator?
The videos they play he plays ridiculous videos sometimes. I'll tell him if I like it or not.
Why don't we watch it all together and we'll judge?
No. We're not doing
Number 3, Bobby Midnight.
Hi, everybody. Look at me today. Clean shaven. I took a shower.
There must be something put in the Vermont water this time of year because it felt like old times having Bobby call in and deliver his very passionate points of view.
On Facebook one time, this guy, he had a cat in his hand and a gun to the cat's head. So I actually called the jail where he was. I wanted to, you can't talk to him. Why not? Oh, the rules. You can't talk to them because I love animals. You don't do that.
After Bobby expressed interest in talking to his friend Ariel of Olive Oil Sports, there was a heightened skepticism of his true intentions. Well, Bobby Midnight, he was hoping that he'd talk to her.
Why does he want to talk to her?
He's a big fan of her work.
That's why he wants to talk to her.
Are you saying Bobby Midnight is a horn dog?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Once you remove the idea that you want to have sex with them, most women don't really have anything interesting to say. And that's not a sign of Ariel or anyone in particular. It's just
here we go,
an observation.
Here we go.
Once you take sex out of it, they don't really have that much that's interesting to say. And especially if they're like an 8 or above, they're useless because they've never had to be interesting because everything they've gotten in their life is based solely on one thing, their sex appeal.
Ariel's my friend. She likes me.
This eagerness to speak with her had Gary a constant thorn in Bobby's side, questioning his motives and leading to a rather intense exchange.
I'm not going to jump a bones like you think. Oh, I don't want to talk to people that have low ID. I just wanted to say hi to her. Not that I wanted to jump a bones, okay? She's very attractive, but so I don't want to fucking jump a bones, okay?
I certainly don't think that's true.
No.
You have no idea why you're upset.
Because you said I wanted to jump a bone, you asshole.
I don't even use the term "jump her bones." I've never used that.
You know,
Yeah.
I wanted to jump a bone, you asshole.
A few days later, it seemed like this battle really left Bobby reeling as his follow-up calls really lacked focus and clarity.
I wanted to jump a bone, you asshole. I wanted to jump a bone. I wanted to jump a bone, you asshole. I don't want to jump a bone. She's very attractive. I want to talk to people with low IDs. Not that I want to jump her bones, but she's very attractive. I don't want to jump her bones. I wanted to jump a bone, you asshole. I wanted to jump a bone. Can I say hello to Olive Oil? I wanna jump her bones. You know,
To close out the year and literally the final call of the 2025 calendar, Bobby decided to push all the chips in and unleash every bit of rage he had built up through the year and unload it on Jake, all because of an image that loosely resembled him. There's a man who just called in. He's flailing his arms like a lunatic on hold right now.
hey Jake, I stick up for you every fucking time on your ESPN show. What do you put my face on that thing for? What the fuck was that? The fuck was that? It looks like Bobby. Fuck you. Destroy that picture. Fucking happy 2003. I play your great host and look like shit you do to me. Goodbye.
I didn't do this. I said it looks like you. It's Beth Ryan, Neil's former lover that never was. That would have been the call of the year. He was so mad. Happy New Year, Bob. There's something about this time of year that brings out the inner rage in Mr. Midnight, and as maniacs are quickly learning to stay out of the way during the holiday season. I thought it was great, but you know, you had to hear Neil's call when he talked about his experience with Beth Ryan on New Year's. That's who that woman was. She happened to look like Bobby, but it wasn't actually Bobby. Couple super chats, then we're going to get back to your calls. But first, I do have some breaking news here from the 69th team.
Look, we got Tomlinson. He ain't getting out of here. Get comfortable, pal, because as soon as Woody wakes up, he's going to make you a rich man.
All right, the recruiting for Tomlin is underway. Thank you, 69th team, for that one. Kyle Clifton with a super chat. He says, as QBs go, Kyler is a tremendous center fielder. Both the Yankees and the Mets could use an outfielder right now. Maybe we sign Kyler Murray and we let him play for both baseball teams. He was a first-round pick after all, top 10 pick in the draft. Keep that in mind. Let's get to some calls, shall we? Hit the like button if you haven't already. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I want to show people the original Neil call. And please, everyone, watch the rankings video if you're a channel member. It's 53 minutes long. Gator just took his time and made a masterpiece, but I can't play it all in one because if I play a 53-minute video here, that would literally be the full show. In fact, I'll tell you what, I'm just going to play the Neil part here, and then we'll get to your calls because would you rather laugh your ass off or would you rather talk about 7 of the 8 DC candidates depressing us? I think I know the answer, so here we go.
Rankings. At number 10, Neil.
Get ready for Neil.
Our resident 13-point as Maniac had another great month of calls, calling in, ironically, 13 times in the month of December. One of the more interesting points was when he passed along some very unconventional marriage advice.
When you get married, there's a 7-year tug of war between your wife and you. After that 7-year period, one of you are going to win the war. And the war is going to carry you through your marriage to maybe making it to 40 where I am right now. And I won the war. I know a lot of guys that lost the war and they're really not worth a fiddler's shit. Most guys say happy wife, happy life. That's bullshit. Happy wife means miserable husband.
Later in the month, Neil had his hands full when he duked it out with resident troll Alan.
Alan, please. Every time I turn around, I see that son of a bitch. I want to strangle him. He thinks he's Mel Kiper. All he talks about is the fucking draft.
I love you, Neil.
God,
all I heard, why do I need to watch the game? Everybody knew they were going to lose by 4 touchdowns.
That doesn't matter, Alan. We are fans of the Jets.
Neil,
we get on this channel and we talk to Jake, and we don't want to hear about your draft analysis. Because you're a moron.
I'm a moron.
Let's hear it, Alan. Moron. Nobody wants to come to the Jets.
The month didn't pass without some controversy, however. When it came to light, Neil considered himself, quote, the best caller on the Jake Asman show. Neil denied ever saying it, but he was fully caught in 4K, much to the amazement of the chat and as maniacs everywhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, a man who called into Dave and Rick this morning on ESPN New York and claimed he's the best caller on the Jake Asman show. It's Neil.
Morning, gents. Anyway, I never said I was the best caller on the Asman show.
I'm going to pull the clip to play it because...
No.
Let's go to Neil, Long Island. Neil, good morning. You're on ESPN New York.
Probably the number one caller on the Jake Asman show, which I know is an ESPN show.
He's like, I didn't say that. You did say that. It's right there.
I have 5 things here that I'm assessing your season on.
Neil, I got an appointment. How long is this exit interview going to be?
It's going to be
Neil, this is only question.
And by the way, you did.
Hang on now, Neil. I'm in the middle of saying something, all right?
Number 2, you're keeping players.
We're going to go through 5 things?
Right.
RJ, what do I do?
I think we wrap it up.
Neil, I don't want to work your company anymore. I'm out. That was supposed to be a quick exit interview. That thing was going on forever. If we just let that continue, RJ, at what point do you think we finish the exit interview?
7:30.
Yeah, we lose 2 breaks.
It was even better than I thought it would be.
I'm the number one caller on the Jake Asman show.
While Neil sometimes stretches the truth, there's no doubt he could deliver a great story, especially if it's a New Year's party from his youth.
I had a New Year's Eve party. I'm 17 years old. We used to have great parties at my house. My parents always went out. I'm dating this girl, Beth Ryan. So she's saying to me, Neil, New Year's Eve, we're going to have a lot of sex. We're going to do a lot. I'm counting on you. We're getting hot and heavy. All of a sudden I hear bang. I go downstairs, a shutter door that closed, like big shutters. And my stupid buddy busted through the door because somebody tried to interrupt him having sex with a girl.
Oh, my goodness.
Another guy took a champagne bottle and poured it into the television set. I spent all New Year's Day cleaning up the house before my parents got home. It was a catastrophe. And that was been the end of me celebrating New Year's from that point forward into my adulthood.
Never change, Neil.
I will talk to everyone later.
Ladies and gentlemen, there he goes. One of the full top 10 is a members only video. If you're a channel member, if you're not a channel member, become a channel member. Watch the top 10. The Beth Ryan story needed to be played, and Bobby was upset that Beth Ryan had a resemblance to him. But now, hopefully, people get the full context. It all makes sense. It all makes sense. Jets raffle at the end of the show today for a Legends jersey. Pick the player you want. If you tuned in late, we are reacting to the fact the Jets announced they had 8 first-round interviews for the vacant DC job. That and much more is what we're talking about. Let's get to more of your calls now, shall we? Dominic D'Angelo is up first in this next segment. What's up, Dom?
What's up, Jake? How you doing, man?
What's going on, my friend? How are you?
Nothing too much. Yeah, how embarrassing would it be if Jim Leonhard did just turn down an interview with the Jets. It would have been just like a complete, I don't know, it would have been very much telling about Aaron Glenn's situation if Jim just denied the job outright and went somewhere else. Like, it would speak to kind of what our status is at the moment.
He's the only notable name on there, right?
Yeah.
That's like being pursued by other teams.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I loved your take and like the thought process on Dante Moore not showing up. I think it's great. It is great that he's not going because like now it relies on Glenn to address probably the quarterback in the free agent market. And then the onus is just going to be completely on him if he can sink or swim. I'm kind of curious though, and I want to get your thoughts. Do you think, knowing Glenn and the situation that he's in, do you think there still might be like a desperation kind of move that he makes, whether it's at quarterback, trying to make a huge trade or trading a lot of capital in the draft to maybe get Mendoza or something?
So I think it's possible if the Raiders would listen. Where I disagree though with Nick is I don't think the Raiders are going to take anyone besides Fernando Mendoza when it's all said and done. I don't buy that there's any other outcome in this draft.
Yeah, I don't either. Like, because I mean, you know, he's just slated to be that guy, and you know, I mean, I wouldn't know how the Raiders want to get him at this moment. Like, if you're getting comps to Matt Ryan and guys like that, and he's got that kind of like just tunnel vision mentality of a quarterback, then this is kind of what you're looking for, I think, in a disabled franchise like the Raiders or the Jets may be. So,
I mean, I'll definitely call them and just be like, hey, if pick, what do you want? But I just think they're going to take their quarterback. I mean, I'm telling you, folks, the Raiders didn't go out of their way to tank to take an offensive lineman at one. They wanted the number one pick because they wanted to get Fernando Mendoza. Like, again, they actively tanked their season. They sat down Max Crosby, who was so upset. He posted videos of him playing basketball, dunking, to show that he's not actually hurt and can play. Like that.
Right.
They didn't do that to take a lineman. People need to remember that.
You know, yeah, that's the thing too. I tell you what, since Nick made that prediction, if it happens, if the Jets get Mendoza, I used to live in Philly like for 5 years. So if they do it, I will get a Mendoza jersey and I will run the Rocky steps in a Mendoza jersey just for the wager if it happens. That's what I'll do.
I love it. I hope he's right. I really do. I don't see it.
Boomtown can mark it down or whatever. It's fine. Well, there's one other thing I was going to make too. I can't remember what it is. But if I had the second pick and I was making the pick for the Jets, I'd want Ruben Bain.
You're a Bain guy?
I'm a Bain guy, big time. Because of the Batman puns. I like Miami, and I'm just all for that. So Ruben Bain.
I'm excited to watch him on Monday. That's for sure.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited to just watch that game in general. Like, how will Miami hold up against Indiana? That's the big question, I think, with that. So.
Yeah, I mean, they're a big favorite too, which is crazy. Indiana.
Yeah.
You know,
it's like are they 7? Is that the spread on it right now? Is it 7.5?
The spread is, let me check the latest active line at FanDuel. The line for that game is 8.5 now, favoring Indiana. It's getting to a point where I might actually take the points with Miami.
Yeah, no, because I was thinking if it was 7, I might take the points with Indiana. But yeah, it's getting up there now a little bit. I think, I mean, like Miami's more talented. They have the stars on there, so it's like, can they match up to the work ethic and kind of thing like that Indiana has shown over the season? So it'll be interesting, Jake. But yeah, I'm sad they didn't interview Coach Klein from the Waterboy yet for the Maybe they will. I want the Fonz. Give me the Fonz for that one. So.
Dude, he would be better than what we just went through with Wilkes.
Oh my God, that would have been a name I would have dog-eared on that. When I saw the Instagram post, I was like, "Where's Coach Klein? Give me that."
I'll take it.
Cool. Thanks, Jake. That's it.
I appreciate you, Don. Great call. Man. Like Jim Leonhard's the only legit name on this list. Now, to be fair, maybe one of these guys we don't know is actually really good, like Banjo. But anyone who's like, wow, that's it. That's the list of candidates. Yeah, this is why I wanted Aaron Glenn fired. This is not an attractive job. Wink Martindale's not good. He's known. You know him. He's going to wear the cut off sleeves on the sidelines. He'll have some funny pressers when he gets hired. And over the summer, we'll buy into it. But the only guy that other teams actually want of any of these names is Jim Leonhard. And the reason why he took the interview with the Jets is because, 1, he played here. 2, he knows Muji. 3, he did overlap, I saw, with Glenn in Cleveland when Leonhard was in the last year of his playing career in 2014, and Glenn was an assistant DB coach. So he probably took this interview as out of a courtesy to the GM and coach who he has a prior relationship with. And it probably is like, it's like he's doing a solid to Glenn and Muji, being like, if I'm going to take this interview, hey, it's a decent job. Like, there's a lot of games with this stuff, a lot of politics. That's the thing I don't think a lot of sports fans really understand. A lot of this like stuff is doing favors for other people, doing a favor for an agent. The NFL is very political, and there's a lot of nepotism involved too. So I think that's why Jim Leonhard took the interview. I'd be shocked if they actually got him to take the job. But again, I hope I'm wrong. I'll give Glenn credit if he convinces him to take the job. Taylor with a super chat. He's in the raffle for 2. Thank you, Taylor. Appreciate you. Nick has a point about the Raiders being a bad spot for Mendoza, but they'll definitely take him. What are their alternatives? Again, they weren't tanking for an offensive lineman. And if the Jets wanted Mendoza and you called the Raiders, I don't think offering one of the Jets' seconds this year and then the one next year is enough. One of their first. I don't think it is, because it's not like the Raiders then could pivot and take a different quarterback at 2 in that scenario. I mean, maybe they love Ty Simpson. I guess they're going to take him second overall, though. I mean, I guess you could justify it more if you got a lot from the Jets to do it, but I'd be surprised. I really would. Let's get to more of your calls, shall we? Appreciate everyone who's on hold. We're going to get to everyone. Hit it.
He's pointing. Garrett Box point at you. Garrett Box point at you. Garrett Box. I'm pointing. I'm pointing. I'm pointing. I'm pointing. Garrett Box point at you. I point.
What up, Jake?
Hello, Gary.
What up, Jake?
Where's your shirt? I haven't seen you buy a shirt yet. I just saw we got another order here. Shout out to listener Lewis K.S., who's in the raffle for 5 because he bought a shirt during the show.
I think I'm gonna order one. I think I'm gonna order one here.
I don't know if you follow this guy because you're a Longhorns fan. One of my good friends who I did radio with in Houston, Brad Kellner, BK, he does a YouTube channel that's all Longhorns coverage. He's live every day. And I sent him a text. I go, I'm sending you these 2 shirts. You got to wear it around Austin and plug it on your show so people buy it. He's like, that's hilarious. I'm in. Send me it.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm gonna get one. It's my 2 worlds. I don't know how that's gonna collide. But yeah, I think I'm gonna order one of those shirts. I've ordered your stuff before. So what is the website? What's the link I have to go to?
JakeAsman.com.
I knew you were gonna make me feel stupid with that. JakeAsman.com. Oh, that's right. JakeAsman.com. Okay, got it. Yes, the Nets are 11-27. But who is that? That is Man with Rake. The Nets are 11-27. That's true. Still a better winning percentage than the Jets. I had a couple of things. First, I wanted to address Neil. I never saw Neil's clips on that before. So he's got 2 things I wanted to address. The happy wife, happy life thing. Yeah, that's simp talk. Like what does that even mean? Like that's disgusting to me. Like the people who say that are probably like, my wife's my best friend. No, my best friend is my best friend, and my wife is my wife. It's 2 different jobs entirely. Happy wife, happy life.
Can your wife be a best friend or no?
It's 2 different jobs. Like saying my quarterback is my center and my center is my quarterback. It's like, no, those are 2 different jobs. Like they can't be the same person. It's weird. No, that's like weird simp talk. Your best friend has to be a guy. Your best friend is the one you call at 2:00 in the morning, and he's like, "Don't even worry. The shovel's in the car. Just tell me where I need to meet you." That's your best friend. I would never ask my wife to do that ever. Like it's 2 different jobs. That's weird. But the other thing he mentioned, the tug of war. Look, so first, like between the 2 of us, we have 54 years of marriage between us. I think we know what we're talking about. So to you guys out there, the happy wife thing, happy life thing is feminist simp boy propaganda. Ignore that. I don't even know what that means, but that's ridiculous. The tug of war thing. I don't know, the 7-year tug of war. I don't even know what that's in reference to. I don't know. I've never had. I wouldn't pursue a partner who made me get in a tug of war with her. I don't know what that part is in reference to. So I can't support him on that. But the first part, the happy wife, happy life thing, that is nonsensical.
This bothers you this much.
I needed to address it. The guy's been married for 40 years. His wife seems like a very pleasant lady, very nice lady. I understand she's an excellent cook. So what I'm saying is if you want a happy life, you should probably pursue a wife like that. And he's telling you, Neil is telling you, between 54 years of marriage, me and him are telling you, happy wife, happy life is nonsense. That is feminist simp boy propaganda. Don't listen to that.
Gary.
Extraordinary.
There's something about this time of year that brings out the best and the worst in one of the most infamous callers in Jake Asman show history.
Women need to vacuum and shouldn't be allowed to vote. Yeah, ladies, you can do it.
Gary called in a sneaky 14 times through December and for the most part made solid, cohesive, and salient points during each appearance.
This is like talking to a machine on drugs.
I know. This is what a failed state looks like.
This is why I can't stand
deliver
like
the packages to where they're supposed to go. They can't do it.
Goddamn
This is what manners decline look like. This is a failed state.
Early in the month, he did his best to assist Peacebreaker when he was on the phone with USPS to help navigate the phone menu, offering suggestions such as pretending to not speak English.
As for Spanish. They'll give you both languages. You guys think that they blasted someone onto the moon, but they can't deliver a package.
I'd like to speak to an agent, please. Now. I said now.
As for Spanish.
El por favor. They just hung up on me, sons of bitches. It's because everything is, AI, artificial intelligence.
At this point, most know the epic moon landing debate that sparked months of content and back and forth between Gary and his nemesis Dave Briga.
You said people walked on the moon, correct?
Yes.
Prove your claim.
It's not my claim, it's history's claim. You're an ignorant person. I was there. I know when.
You were on the moon?
Or you just don't believe it.
Give me the evidence that people walked on the moon.
You don't make any sense.
But these two titans took it to a new level and battled it out yet again.
I don't think people walked on the moon. Right?
Explain this then.
Yeah, you were there.
Half the other calls call in and tell Charles to get a job. But if I tell a woman to stop being loud, get a husband, and stop being a hoe, I've crossed the line. But telling Charles every day, he's fully aware that he needs a job. But I just wanted to go back at Briga. He's my least favorite person I think I've ever spoken to. And I mean that in a real way. How's it going, Dave?
You're far from extraordinary, my friend. You reach fireball levels calling me worthless, okay?
Of no value.
That's all I can say.
Just to clarify, but by worthless, I meant of no value.
You're a valued person. All you do is condemn people.
I don't condemn anyone.
You condemn everybody else.
Who did I condemn?
Everybody, all the time you're on there condemning
a single person. That's one lie. Continue.
Hey, don't ever call me a liar, fat mouth. Don't call me a liar, fat mouth, okay? Hey, I'm 32 years older than you, and I don't fear you one bit, buddy. You shut your mouth about me. You called me worthless. You crossed the line.
Conversation. This is going to
You're an idiot.
This guy doesn't listen.
I'm listening. Go on. I'm listening.
Talking.
Spout it out, bird brain.
Shut the hell up. If you want an answer, shut your mouth.
Say it.
What's your question?
What's your question? What's the question,
I don't
bird
have a
brain?
question. You asked me a question, you retard. This is
You're a retard. You know what? I must have knocked your face on that wall.
I don't care
What is your daily activity? What do you do all day? What do you do all day?
When you ask a question, wait for the answer.
Okay, answer. I've asked. I'm waiting.
You're 74 years old. You have
I'm waiting.
Social skills. Just shut your mouth and stop talking. 74 years old and this socially retarded.
Hey, don't ever call me retarded. Fat face. Don't call me retarded.
Stop talking. You're 74 years old and no one ever taught you how to have a conversation? It's amazing.
You're just a provocative person. That's all.
So is Jesus.
Don't compare yourself to the Lord. You're far from it, my friend.
I'm like.
Well, okay, that's great. Are you a born again believer or what?
Of course, I'm a born again believer. I was born again 13 years ago.
Good. That's good to know. At least you got one thing going for you. One thing.
I don't even like. I think you have a heart for Christ. I do. I just think you have no social skills. I think Christ can use you. I do. I think you.
You know exactly. You know everything. You're a man of great value. The man that knows everything. The man that corrects people, the man that condemns people, the man that takes scriptures out of context on a daily basis.
Bobby to get a job. You do that all the time.
That's what they need. They need to have.
Why does Charles? Why? What says who?
Charles. Did you see the language that's being used?
If Charles wants a job bad enough, he'll get a job.
Charles
he doesn't need you to hold his hand.
I'm not holding his hand. He needs to be productive in life.
I don't know what Charles does all day. I have no idea what he does all day.
I don't know what he does. Probably nothing, He likes
Charles. Charles is a grown man. He's not 16. He's a grown man. He knows what he needs to do.
He's not a grown man. He needs to grow up.
32 years old or something like
he's
that.
32. That doesn't mean he's grown up. Yeah, he may be sized up, but he's not mentally sized up.
If he wanted a job, he could go get a job.
That's what they're trying to get him to do. That's all.
He doesn't want to do it.
But he has to try. He's just wasting his life away.
Not only does he not have to try, he's not going to try.
He can't live like this forever.
He might get so desperate that he becomes motivated, but he's not at that point. I can't do it for him.
Well, we want the best for him, right?
I want the best for him. I'll pray that God blesses him with motivation. I'll bless that God blesses him with a job, but I can't make him go get the job. I can't go out there and get it.
He has to get to the point where he realizes that. It's not that terrible language. His language is horrid.
Fuck you, Dave Briga.
After these two combatants were done unloading body shot after body shot and headshot after headshot, something magical happened, and both said God bless to the other to close out the Rumble before parting ways.
All right, well, we don't have anything else to talk about, so...
From the mouth comes an overflow of the heart.
Well, there you go.
Not you. You don't have a potty in your mouth, but people with a potty in their mouth have a sewer in their heart.
Well, yes, everything comes from the heart, so. All right, well, take care of yourself.
Dave, be good. God bless you. I do think you have a heart for Christ. I do.
The Lord put it there, not me.
I agree.
It's all by the grace of God. So, sin that remains, penalties been paid for, dominion no more, but the sin remains, okay? God bless. God bless everybody. Come to Christ.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of that Rumble had to have been Jesus Christ, right, Nick? You can't make this stuff up, folks. Then, after an incredible gesture, Dave offered to give the jersey he won on a previous show to Gary's daughter, Decker, who had started wavering as a Jet fan, to hopefully bring her back into the fold. What do you think of that olive branch right there from Dave Briga?
Shout out, Dave. I appreciate that. That's kind. I appreciate it, and thank you.
Whatever the player Decker wants, we'll do our best to make it happen if you accept the offer from Dave Briga.
Of course I accept it. Thank you, Briga. I appreciate that, and thank you. And next time Decker's up, I'll have her thank you personally.
Gary may never be able to give up his hot takes, even in the face of overwhelming evidence, but Gary is always up for a debate and isn't afraid to broker any subject.
Thank you for giving me the jersey, and God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Briga, making dreams happen. I'm touched by that. What a moment. Dave Briga. What a man. What a Rumble. Unbelievable. The full top 10 is a members-only video. It's 53 minutes in length, which is why we're just playing part of it, because we had Bobby call in, we had Gary call in, so I played their part. We've heard from Bobby. We've been struggling to hear from this next caller. He tried calling in earlier, and it wasn't working properly. So we will try again, and hopefully this time we get it right.
Hello, I'm Mikey. I'm Bobby's little bro. Have you seen Jake Graves? She's so beautiful. I love my boy Jake, but not in a gay way. I am so happy. I'm not going to touch anything, I promise.
Ah! Damn it. Sorry, Mikey. I don't know what's wrong with your internet. Let's keep it rolling with your calls, though, shall we? Let's say hello to a man who doesn't need any introduction, but Gator made about 15,000 of them over the last year.
Holy crap, here comes Beastbreaker 666.
Why don't you get your fat ass on a treadmill and go the distance with me?
Is that Bobby Midnight?
I'm not into politics, and I already told you that.
I may be big, but I'm going to be bad enough to put you out.
Beastbreaker always has some salient points.
I just got done having a hot dog. $6.
$6. What? How big was the wiener?
Just usual. Nothing new. Nothing new. Both 4 games, and my entire body's gonna feel like Jello tomorrow. I'm not in the mood for no Jello. Yeah, well, after a whole week, you gotta remember too, when you take a week off, your whole body just,
You took a week off from home?
Yeah, because last week I took care of shopping business in the suburbs. Let me just say this: when I go to the suburbs, I get better deals out there than I get in the city. See, all you gotta do is play your cards right. If you don't play your cards right, you're gonna get nailed.
Well, let me ask you this: where exactly
just remember
did
that.
you spend $6 on a hot dog piece? That seems a bit overpriced.
Well, right here, Huck Finn's. Hey there. It's not too bad. What you see is what you get.
Was it a foot?
And plus, if you see Just a regular hot dog. Nothing new. Nothing new.
Well, what was on the hot dog?
I'm very tired. I just want ketchup and mustard. That's all. I don't feel. I'm just too tired right now. I'm very tired.
So
I'm gonna be very sore tomorrow night
for a standard hot dog. I think. You
Yeah,
got
that's not that. That's okay. Don't worry about it. It's not the end of the world.
Fries?
Nobody. Nah, no fries. I'm just thinking about a lot of stuff right now. And I already said loud and clear that we're gonna get new guys. Because it don't look like Glenn. He's not the kind of guy to do anything. Because I think he's starting to fall into dementia. Like you don't know where you've been. Once he starts aging, and that's sign from above. When you there's an old saying. There's default, and then there's evolve, or evolve devolve. Did you ever watch the movie Super Mario Brothers with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo?
Sure.
There's a part in that movie that when they put King Koopa in one of the things, they put devolve, and it just didn't work. So it looks like Aaron's brains are just devolving right before our very eyes. But I don't see it. I think this team will.
Hey, Beast, I brought on my health and fitness expert, Gary, to talk more about hot dog.
Oh, Jesus, this guy again.
So, no, I actually want to give
a headache and a half.
If you take a week off, the body will not like it when you go back. So the best thing you can do is never take multiple days off in a row. Don't really even take one day off. Just keep exercising every day. I know they say it's better for you to rest, but like I find when I rest 2-3 days, I get lazy again. Just exercise every day. Every day. I think Beast is right on that. You take a week off, your body feels like mush. Was the hot dog dragged through the garden?
My garden is wet because we just got snow, and we're going to get an Arctic blast starting tonight. Gary, I don't think you can handle this stuff because you don't have the testicles to do what I've done. I've been to the cold, and I'm gonna tell you. Will you get the potatoes out your ears and listen for 1 minute? I've been to the East Coast. I know what cold feels like. It's not a walk in the park. It's hell on wheels, or hell on steroids. There's a big difference. See, when you get that cold wind off the Atlantic, Ocean, it's not a warm feeling. It's a frozen feeling because it will hit you so hard that even your body will go down in a heartbeat. I know how it feels. It's not a walk. It's no walk. It's reality, not a fantasy.
I don't mess with the cold. I live in Texas. I've lived on the East
Let me address this for you. Look, Potato Head. Hey, look, Mr. Potato Head. Look, did you listen 1 minute and get the potatoes out your ears? When I was living east, and I was doing my own things, I'll tell you something about them winds. And when you deal with 20 or 30 or 40 mile an hour wind gusts that come up that Atlantic Ocean, it will kick you in the ass real good, and you won't like it, but you're gonna have to deal with it.
I've been to Chicago many times. So the wind in Chicago and Detroit is worse than what they have on the East Coast. I'm not saying it's not bad on the East Coast. I'm saying what y'all have in the Midwest is worse.
Well, you gotta take it one day at a time. See, my grandfather always once said, we put our pants on one leg at a time. We're not young anymore. Once you start getting older, your body's gonna start getting a little bit sluggish. See, I've been around this for a long, long time. I've seen everything I need to see.
My favorite gun is my 45. You can use it for all intents and purposes.
Women need to vacuum and shouldn't be allowed to vote.
Thank you, Beast. I'm sorry you got ripped off on the hot dog. $6.91 for one hot dog with ketchup and mustard. Criminal. More of your calls right now, ladies and gentlemen. When we need clarity, when we need to get the show back on track, there's one man that gets us there.
I got my Iron Uji. I hope you like my Jets take. They call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
Hi, Jake.
Hey, David.
Hey, yes, for $6.91, that had to be a big wiener.
Very large, very tasty wiener.
Yes, and I hope Beast talking about the weather that if the Jets play Chicago, it's maybe in September or October. That maybe you can do the thing. But Nick Faria can't really relate to him. I think because he had a Mets sweatshirt on. And he's speaking his opinion, and you're looking at the Mets, and it's like, I don't know. And I'm not very proud of myself because I'm just not rooting. I'm just so down on Woody Johnson and Aaron Glenn, and with the defensive coordinator, like you said, they'll probably get the guy from Detroit. He's probably going to be a puppet. And, so I'm ashamed of myself. I can't root for him. And I hope I'm preparing for a 3-win season next year.
You got to believe, David T.
I can't, Jake. At this point, I can't.
Well, David, it's Friday night. Are you knocking down some Fireball whiskey?
I knocked down my Fireball, and now I am on my beer. I'm drinking beer now, and relaxing. And life is terrific,
Well, you sit back and you enjoy the ride. All right.
Thank you. I'm enjoying your show, buddy.
You're the man, David T. Everybody.
I got my eye on you. Checkmate me, full screen. It's Fireball whiskey time. David motherfucking T.
Great call from David. Super chat. I want to address Eli in the raffle for 5, but he wrote, please put these entries in for Calvin, the guy going through dialysis. Get well soon, Calvin. Eli, that is very kind of you, man. I'll make sure that your entries go towards Calvin. For those tuning in late this week on the show, we're giving away 3 signed Jet helmets, 1 by Garrett Wilson, 1 by Darrell Revis, and 1 by my first jersey I ever owned. Player, Chad Pennington. That's right. The number 10 jersey. That was the first Jet jersey I owned. Let's see. Got more people on the line and one in. Let's go to Paul, who's next. What's up, Paul?
What's going on, brother?
Paul, how are we feeling?
Nick got me all fired up now. Come on, man. They're not going to give up Mendoza. I mean, who would do that? I know they're a bad organization like us, but I mean, you have to jump while you have that opportunity, and you have the first round pick. Why are you going to pass up on a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback that really has potential that everybody else can see? Like, it's not going to happen. I don't know why he's toying with us. I think he just wants us to go and give his team a draft pick for his quarterback on the bench, but that's my opinion. And in all fairness to Neil, he did say probably number 1 caller. So he didn't say he was the number 1. He said probably.
It's true.
Is that fair? So
yeah.
He didn't say I'm the number 1 caller. He said I'm probably the number 1 caller. So I got to give Neil some slack.
He's one of the greats.
Yeah. You got to love Neil. But I'm going to win that raffle today. So I just wanted to call and say that, when I win, don't be shocked because I'm on a roll. And tell Nick, stop smoking crack. Peace, brother.
Well said, Paul.
I hug him every day. I hug him every day.
Paul was the only one to gift so far. Other people have qualified with super chats. We only have 5 memberships, so it's never been a better time to join the Asmaniac raffle. You can win a Jets jersey. Pick the player you want. Revis, Corbett, Martin, Klecko, Namath. If you want Nick Mangold, Keyshawn, we'll make that happen for you as well. Andrew C is in the raffle. Says, put me in. The dream, Andrew C. You got to call in again, man. I know you were at the playoff game on Sunday. Call in when you can, Andrew C. We miss your Jet takes. David says, Jake, do you ever take any time off? You need to rest up to prepare for next season. This is our season, the off season. And there's no time to rest. We just interviewed 8 DC candidates, baby. 7 of which aren't any good in all likelihood. But hey, you got to believe. I will say, Wink Martindale's agent is shameless. Why do you think Ian Rappaport's tweeting this? We completed interviews with the following candidates for our DC opening. Ian doesn't mention a single name of the 8 besides Wink Martindale among an interesting group. Let me lift the curtain on how this works. Wink's agent said, hey, can you do my guy Wink a favor here and highlight that he interviewed for the Jet job? We're trying to get him a job in the league again. If not with the Jets, someone else, please hire Wink. He doesn't have a job. He's out of college football now. Sharon Moore was sleeping around and got fired. We got to get him in the league again, please. That's what this means. Nothing but Nets, Texas. I believe this is Gary 3D Boxing entering the Asmaniac raffle. How about this? Gary in for 5.
Yeah. Yo. Yeah, put those in for Calvin. I don't know how to put a message on that, but those are for Calvin on dialysis. Those are for him.
Chicken doesn't go with pasta. Don't you know it's disgusting? Chicken can't go with pasta. Why? Because of the texture. Instead, go get yourself pizza at the closest Shell gas station, because chicken don't go with pasta. I just discovered dogs are pets.
Hell yeah, Gary. Well done. Very kind of you. Gary with a message to the haters that he ain't so bad. In fact, our next caller has gone in the ring with Gary many times. Ladies and gentlemen, a legend joins us now.
He thinks that Gorman needs to get a freaking job. This cowboy hates to see Asmaniacs complain. What they call him, one-punch rigger. You need to get a job. What they call him, one-punch rigger. The beast is on his ass. They call him one-punch rigger. Has anyone seen Dean Mack? They call him one-punch rigger. He'll only need one.
Hey, good afternoon, Jake.
What's up, Dave?
I'm sick as a dog.
Oh, no, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, my wife got me sick. She went out the other day to the store, and she was healthy as anything. She comes back with a cold, and she passed it on to me. So then we had a fly yesterday, and I'm back here in the cold. So
I was about to say, at least you're in the warm weather, but apparently you're not.
No, I had to come back because I have a lot of things going on next week. So I'd like to stay longer, but what are you going to do? Duty calls. I get a kick out of those old videos. They're funny, you know?
We might need to play a lot of them this upcoming year. Get past the time.
Oh, Jake, it's sad. It's sad. I don't know what we have coming. Look. I don't know what we could do to make things look better. It's sad, you know. I think we should all take a vacation in 26. Hey, maybe here's a good idea. We'll all go on a cruise to one of those islands. You know, we'll get lost for 6 months, and if it ends up 1 at 15, we'll know he'll be gone, and it'll be just a bad dream that we never witnessed.
I like it. I like where your mind is at.
Yeah, I mean, I can't take it. Really, I can't. When I see those candidates come up for DC, it's a sad situation. It just shows you the men that this man is able to attract. This is the condition we're in. We're 32 and going down, not rising. We're going down. There's no 33rd position. Well, the only 33rd position is the 33rd team that killed us. And I'd like to be part of that 69 team. I graduated in high school in 69, so maybe that's my qualifications, Our qualifications as fans are a lot better than 33rd team. I'm giving Muji a benefit of the doubt, but this Glenn, I try to look at the positive side, but it just seems like it gets worse every day. And Nick Faria, man, he's got he better hold on to those receipts, or else we're going to have a lot of our own. I mean, I don't know where he gets this idea that they're going to pass on Mendoza. That'd be he'd strike gold with that take.
I hope he's right. I really do. The Raiders weren't tanking to take an offensive lineman. That's not why they were trying to lose every game at the end of the year.
I mean, especially if they have Brady there. I mean, I don't get. I don't think, why would they go in the other direction? The guy was 7-time Super Bowl champion at quarterback. I mean, why would they not take Mendoza's quarterback, even though he may not be the finished product? I mean, you have to go with him. I don't know, Jake. Tell us what we're gonna do for 26. Give us a projection.
I think we're going to be marching for Arch or whoever the top quarterback is at the top of the draft. I mean, until I see any tangible evidence, I think that this team will be better coached and they'll be able to win games. Because I don't think it's only a talent problem with this team. That's why, yes, I want them to improve the roster, be smart with these picks. That's why I'm happy Dante Moore is going back to school. But I don't believe in this head coach. And I just don't think you can win in today's NFL if your head coach is this big of a glaring weakness, which until proven otherwise, I think he's going to be on the hottest of seats, and we got to just hope he gets better. And if he doesn't, to me, the light at the end of the tunnel is some of the roster that is already in place and the assets they have for next year. I think it'd be an attractive job for someone else.
The optimism is not there. I mean, just what can we do? I mean, I don't know. I just hope, with some way, shape, or form. I mean, he's Lazarus rising from the dead, coming out of the tomb. Glenn could be Lazarus. That's his only hope. A miracle. We need a miracle. Miracles happen. Like the miracle on ice. We need a miracle. So everybody's got to pray that, we get a miracle. That if not 26, that a bad year in 26 leads us to a new direction in 27. But everybody's got their takes.
Can Aaron Glenn be Herb Brooks?
Can he be? Herb Brooks was a motivator and a good coach. He knew how to motivate. I mean, if you look at the kind of coach that he was, I mean, and that's, that's the all-time, that's my number one team. You cannot beat the 1980 Olympics team, our hockey team.
Have you been to Lake Placid before, Dave?
No, I've never been there. I wanted to go to that game, but that year there was so many things going on. My dad passed away, and we had our business, and a lot of difficulties were going on, and it's just that's the greatest. I got big pictures of my cousin made, and I have them all in a room. They're starting to fade now, But I mean, that's the most unbelievable sporting event I've ever seen as in my days here on Earth. It was just unbelievable that those kids beat that, the Soviet Army team.
It's amazing. I've been there a couple times to Lake Placid when I used to work at a summer camp, and I went as a camper there, and I got to skate on the Miracle on Ice rink, which was incredible.
Really?
Yep.
Oh boy, that must have been a thrill. That's we could only hope that our team could rise like that. But we'll see, right? We have to have hope. There's little hope right now, but hopefully we can get there. Miracles happen.
Do you believe in the 69 team, Dave? Are you a fan of Neil and Castro putting together this team?
Yeah, I put my input in there. They're my men. We're in the same age brackets. We have a lot of experience with. I mean, I don't know if I don't know if did Neil see the Super Bowl? Was he there for the Super? I think he did. And Castro did.
Neil was at the AFL Championship game at Shea against the Raiders.
Oh yeah, that was a great game. That was a great game. Yeah. Hey, listen, I watch a lot of those all replays. The other day, it's the only hope you get sometimes. We look at the past now, We have to sort of we time travel to the past as Jet fans. So I was watching that game, the 51-45 shootout, Marino versus, Ken O'Brien the other day. I just happened. They come up once in a while. Just the YouTube shoots them on there,
The algorithm knows what you're looking for.
Yeah. So I mean, we could get at least we could see some good games of the past. I feel bad for the young kids, and we're losing generations of fans here. I think that's the sad part. I mean, we're losing generations of fans here. That when Doc was on, he explained it. He made a couple of calls now. That Doc, he explained it very well. I mean, kids are not going to, they laugh at us. They laugh. The grandkids laugh at you. It's awful. It's just awful that it's come to this, Jake. It's awful. Look at guys like Connor. He's never witnessed anything good, and he hangs in there.
One day, Dave. One day it'll all be worth it.
One day, and you yourself too. I mean, what's the highest point of your life was 2010, right?
Yeah, 15 years ago today.
Yeah, as far as football goes, right? But listen, this is one thing we have to remember. Football is not everything, okay? So don't make it the focal point of your life. All right? You have to have other things besides this cuz if you put yourself in this little cubby hole, you won't be having an enjoyable life because all we'll be doing is be depressed.
You're right.
So everybody do other things, enjoy your family, enjoy your life, enjoy your health. This is great because we have a good community because we hold together, we're tight, and in the midst of losing, hey, we have our own infighting, but that's typical inside a family. The worst arguments are inside a family, but then you make up 10 minutes later. Some of us it takes longer, like Gary and me, but
Now
but
you
we
guys
go
are
on.
a dynamic duo.
Yeah, we butt heads, but it's okay. It's all in fun, Sometimes, there's certain things that we're never going to agree on. We know that, but we all have to, we're all suffering together, and someday hopefully we'll all rejoice together. But we need that miracle. We need that miracle. All right, Jake. Listen, I gotta. Just trying to get better here. This stinking cold's got me down. The first cold I had in 4 years, and my wife gave it to me. And I have to always watch it. I'll get a respiratory infection with my asthma. So
Hang in there, Dave. I hope you get better,
yeah,
all right?
yeah. Thanks a lot, Jake. Have a good weekend.
You too. Ladies and gentlemen, the legend, Dave Brigham.
He thinks that Gary needs more shots upside his head. This cowboy hates when you don't believe in achievement. Well, they call him one-punch Brigger. The moon landing was raining. Call him one-punch Brigger. His claim is not too dirty. One-punch Brigger. Hated Johnson's lightning sash. One-punch Brigger. Doesn't know they need them.
What a call. What a life. Feel better, Dave. Ladies and gentlemen, if you missed it earlier, an announcement from the 69 team.
Look, we got Tomlinson. He ain't getting out of here. Get comfortable, pal, because as soon as Woody wakes up, he's going to make you a rich man.
Enough said. Andrew C. with a super chat. He's in the raffle for 2 more with this. Jake, these weirdos on Twitter crushing you for being negative is crazy to me. Also, Jets Reddit trashes you too. And all the callers, us. What's up with these guys? Well, the callers usually, for the most part, agree. Anyone, I don't care what anyone says about me, unless you are Renzel and you call into the show. I give you tickets to a Jets game so you could go with your family, and then you go on Twitter and accuse me of being racist because I'm critical of Aaron Glenn. That's where I draw the line. All right, that's asinine. It's just it's ridiculous that anyone could just throw that out there, right? Especially a guy who's called into the show and we actually give a platform to for his asinine, awful football takes. We read some of the funny Reddit comments. A lot of people were defending me on there, so it wasn't everyone on Jets Reddit. But again, I what's there to be positive about? Right? I'm honest. That's why the show is successful. I've been very optimistic about the Jets for most of the show, believe it or not, as far as the moves in the offseason, the excitement coming into the year. But they have been awful. And this year was the worst year we've ever experienced. This, to me, was worse than 2020 because at least 2020, there was light at the end of the tunnel. There was a new regime coming in. We knew Gase was done. Glenn's here for another year, which sucks. He should have been fired. Hope he proves me wrong, but he should have been fired. So if I got to deal with another BS season because they're going nowhere this year, at least we'll have fun and march for Arch and hopefully improve our team and focus on some of the positives for the next head coach, whether it be Mike Tomlin or Kevin O'Connell or whoever. But there's nothing to be positive about right now. We have the worst head coach in football. Here's the list of DC interviews. The fact that this interview process is so important for the Jets to get right, all you need to know about Aaron Glenn is that if he gets this hire wrong, he's screwed. He's a defensive coach. Shouldn't we be confident the defense would be fixed? Andrew says they're all just shut up, watch, and stop complaining. See, the stop complaining people are the best. Woody Johnson loves the people that tell others who are critical of the Jets, stop complaining. Yeah, just bend over and take it more. Keep spending money on season tickets. No, if we don't voice our opinions, our displeasure, then guess what? If we don't voice our opinions, things don't change. So that's not good enough either. Terry says, Jake, you're very negative. You bash Saleh, Zach. You bash Saleh, who was a bad head coach. Zach Wilson, who was the worst quarterback ever. Gase, who was horrific. Glenn, who's just as bad. Luke Falk, who's unplayable. And I really didn't bash Darnold. You're wrong about that, Terry. First off, I didn't have the show when Sam was a Jet, so you wouldn't even know what I was saying about Sam. I was always a Sam believer. At the end, I just thought maybe New York broke him. It was time to move on. I agreed with the decision to move on. I understood it. But I was a huge Sam Darnold fan. Go look at all my old tweets about Sam. So don't tell me it's beyond negativity. They sucked. You're just trying to troll me here. You're rage baiting. I see what you're doing, Terry. I won't say who I think this is, but this is a Glenn Bootlicker on a burner account. Because you could go read Terry's old comments here, and you could see very specifically it's very calculated with what Terry's trying to do. Using ChatGPT in some of their responses to write a long thing trying to defend Aaron Glenn. So I'll tell you what, Terry. I know what you're trying to do. I'll give you exactly what you want. Thank you for watching the show, but your day is done.
Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the Sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give them another 24 hours to think about it.
You're so negative. You were critical of Gase. Yeah. That's how you know he's just trying to get me to be upset and rage bait him. But anyway, he's a Glenn Bootlicker regardless. Because I think I know who Terry actually is. But until I confirm and approve it, I won't throw any accusations out there. More of your calls. Taylor from Connecticut's next. What's up, Taylor?
Jake, what's going on?
How are you, man?
Oh, another day in paradise. Jets land.
Some big time interviews, baby.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think the list says it is nobody. We don't know anybody except for Martindale and Leonhard, but you knew it was gonna be, someone either like up and coming, like somebody we don't know, basically, because that's what Glenn wants, which I feel like that's kind of what you want is, someone taking their chance, see if they're good coaches instead of like a wink option. But I don't know. I definitely agree with you with the, Glenn as a coach and the numbers and everything. I'm just like, I can't stay here for 15 months and be like, and 10, March for Arch. It's just, I can't do it. I agree. Glenn's not a good coach, but I'm gonna hope and pray that that he's good. So I feel
Until
like
then, though, we
yeah,
we ride at dawn.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I'm just like I can't keep beating. He's coming back, so I can't just keep beating the dead horse, But I'm hoping they get Leonhard. I mean, you never know. Like, there's a lot of connections there. Like, he was on the same staff with Banjo. Sean Payton has, recommended people to Glenn and given his support for Glenn before. So maybe Sean Payton's like, hey, this is a good opportunity for you. You should go do that. I don't know who would agree with that, but maybe that's the case. And then there's, he obviously worked in the same work setting with Muji. So there are a lot of connections there. Maybe he would be comfortable doing that. And then also,
what's your pitch to him though? Beyond, hey, he knows the people here, but how do you convince him that there's stability with this job and it's a good job?
I don't know. Maybe if I don't think Woody's not vetting him as a DC, but maybe if Muji's like side convo, like, hey, listen, if things go terribly this year, like, I don't know. I guess Muji wouldn't know if he's keeping his job, but maybe he'd be like, hey, could be a head coaching job for you, eventually. And if Glenn goes, I don't know if I would just hire Jim Leonhard as the head coach either. I'd rather an offensive coach would be my preference. But I don't know. I'm gonna hope until Glenn is actually gone, I can definitely believe he's not a good coach until proven otherwise. But I'm going to hope that we could get someone like Leonhard and it's going to improve. Like, that's best case scenario is Glenn just magically turns into a good coach, and we don't
Now, what do
have
you
to.
think about DeMarcus Covington, Chris Harris, Daronte Jones, any of these other names wet your whistle?
Maybe the Browns guy. The Lions guy definitely just seems like that would be like the most underwhelming one. The Miami guy, Jones, or I'm not even going to attempt to Banda. I'm not even going to attempt to say his first name, but I feel like those are kind of like the up and coming, kind of guys that are going to be, if they're not hired by Glenn, there are guys who could potentially get jobs on other staffs of the new head coaches that are going to get hired. So those are kind of the names that you kind of want, because either they'll turn, it's a question mark, but maybe they're, an innovative, scheme type person that we need, or it's, they're going to work in tandem with Glenn, and Glenn's just going to call the defense. Because if Glenn just calls the defense and that works out, like that's a huge plus on his resume, as a head coach for the year. If it goes, not great, but the Jets improve and he calls the defense and the defense is, middling at least, it's like that would be a huge step up for him, whether, we think he's a good head coach or not, but that would be a huge thing. So it's TBD. I think if it's Leonhard would be calling the plays, and now, he would kind of get the keys there. But some of those other guys, it might be, it's going to be a tandem with Glenn, and Glenn's going to call the plays, which could be a good thing. The numbers in his Detroit defenses, are, other than that, were bad. And then that last year was pretty good. But I really feel like, because we weren't watching Lions games intently, so I feel like we don't know what Aaron Glenn, the defensive play caller, kind of is all about. For the draft also, I definitely also agree Nick is high. I think he's right. Like, the Raiders aren't, like, Mendoza's going to go there, and it's like the perfect situation for Mendoza and the Jets is them together, because he'd have an O-line, he'd have some sort of weapons. And so it would be a situation I feel like he could thrive in when he's going to go to the Raiders and as like a, quote unquote, immobile quarterback behind a terrible offensive line. There's a whole offseason to go, but I feel like that's just like a disaster waiting to happen. But they're not going to not take him, because you don't go into next year planning to get another top 5 pick. It's the same issue the Jets are facing. Like, how aggressive are you for a quarterback? Because you're not planning on tanking. Like, Glenn's not planning on tanking next year and getting another top 5 pick to take a quarterback.
No, but he might not have to if he's just that bad.
Right?
Like,
yeah.
I mean, they're not going to go. Yeah, they're not going to go into the year. I mean, look, they're going to make a moves to address quarterback, but like. Again, if the staff remains an abomination, it won't matter who the quarterback is, because they're not getting Joe Burrow to cover up all the coaching staff's miscues. That's not happening.
No. Hey, if we don't, which odds are we're not going to be taking a quarterback at 2. Like Bain, I feel like Bain, if we're going to go edge, Bain's the one that fits.
You start watching David Bailey, Jet fans. The more I watched him between shows today, the more I watched some David Bailey cut-ups, the more I really like him at 2. I'm going to be honest.
I agree, but I feel like, isn't he like similar to, like, he's a light speed rusher? So he's similar to Will McDonald? Because he's like 240 or something like that.
Bain and Jermaine, yeah. He'd probably be a better compliment. Bailey... Let's see. Let's look at Dom C's scouting report on Bailey here. He has him as his 3rd best edge behind Ruben Bain and Arvell Reese. His evaluation is 4-star recruit from the 2022 class. Played edge rusher and all-ball linebacker in high school. Older brother played football at Harvard. He started at Stanford, played in 11 games and 9 starts. 2023, he played in 10 games and 5 starts. 2024. He played in all 12 games with 2 starts and transferred after the season. 2025 at Texas Tech, he's had a great year. Made Bruce Feldman's freak list before the season. He has been clocked at 20 miles per hour before on the field. Twitched up athlete with explosive first step, great bend, nice variety of speed and finesse moves. Hands are active, plays with a good pad level, gets really low when dipping around the corner. Has the pursuit speed to make plays on the backside of runs and screens. 5 forced fumbles in 2024. Cons, frame feels close to maxed out. Good, not great length. can be engulfed by larger blockers and washed out of the run game. Play strength is okay, but can be driven off the ball. No real power moves to speak off of. Bull rush. Peters out after initial rush. Did get carried off some potential tackles because of momentum. And then I have
speed and bend. That's what I hear. Speed and bend and bad in the rush game. All I hear is Will McDonald.
Yeah, look again. We got a long way to go, but I know people really like him.
One last thing, Arvell Reese. How would you feel taking him at 2, but they're gonna play him at linebacker, and then Glenn likes to call those 5-man blitzes. He's that blitzing guy, not fucking Sherwood, who's awful at it. Because he's really good at that. And then, if you're in a 3rd and 15, sure, line up him and Will McDonald on the edge. Would that be underwhelming at 2 to get a quote unquote linebacker? Because I think we really need that player. Glenn in Detroit used to do that with Brian Branch as his weird blitzer. So I'm like, I would think Reese would kind of be the guy there because that's more of our need.
I need to know what their plan would be. That's why I think who the DC hire will give us a better idea on maybe the type of defense they run and then who kind of fits.
I would think him at linebacker, on rundowns, he's great. Because when I watched Ohio State this year, I'm no film expert, but when I watched Ohio State a lot this year, I didn't see him playing edge that much. I saw him playing linebacker a lot. So I don't, I'm sure he can do it. And all the draft guys, are labeling him edge and say he's really good at it. But I'm like, I saw him playing linebacker a lot. So I don't know. That would be my idea, and I feel like that would be the best fit unless you just want to go straight edge. Then I feel like Bane, because he's a bigger edge, would be a better fit. But either way, I was just wondering, would that be too rich for you to take him at 2 if he was going to play that role?
I don't think so. If they think he's the best player, take him. At that point, though, for how do you feel about Downs at 2 then? Because you know what I mean. Then you start getting into the conversation of if you want just the best player, it's kind of similar.
It's the same conversation where it's you're going to get a guy that the Jets desperately need, but is it worth taking that guy at 2? So I think it'd be funny if they end up taking a Bane or Bailey. It kind of because their drafts will be wildly similar to the Lions when they took Hutchinson and Penei Sewell.
Yeah, look, the biggest thing the Jets need to do, regardless of who the head coach is get these picks right, because that sets you up for a future, whether Glenn's a part of it or not.
And then quarterback, that's the biggest issue here.
Yeah,
that
can't be solved, I don't think, in the draft. That's the thing. Unless you believe in Ty Simpson, you think he's a franchise guy, or Chambliss, which doesn't sound like he's even going to be in this draft. We'll see what happens with the waiver. I don't know.
Neither of those guys are playing and being a winning besides something crazy happening. Neither of those guys, even if you draft them, which is why I'm kind of I don't really want to waste 16 on one of those players when you could get Reese and Styles or Reese and Mekhi Lemon and get 2 arguably they could be Pro Bowl players, rookie year type players, and instead you're going to waste a pick on a QB who might be good. You got to get one eventually, but I just those QBs like Chambliss, Simpson, and whoever, Aller, Nussmeier, whoever else later on. It's none of those guys are just going to step in and win you games this year. So I don't. Again, the biggest problem is, I've said a few times on the show, I'm I don't see the path to having a QB, which means we're not going to have a winning record next year.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be tough. But you never know.
Yeah. Appreciate you, Jake. That's all I got for you today.
You're the man, Taylor. Excellent call. Do me a favor. Don't let go of that rope.
Just don't let go of the rope.
Don't let go, baby. All right, home stretch here. We're in our wow. I didn't even realize we're 2 hours and 13 minutes into the show. Unreal. Time flies when you're having fun, huh? It really does. Barbarossa's next. Hey, Barbarossa.
Hey, guys. What's going on? It's been a little while. Cheers, Jake.
Cheers, Barbarossa. Also, real quick, because I'm going to forget if I don't do this. Kyle Clifton purchased a March for Art shirt. So, Kyle, I got you in the raffle for 5 additional entries. And I see you bought a quarter zip. So, you're the man, Kyle. Appreciate you. I keep wanting to mention it, and I get to another call and forget. So, I didn't want to forget.
It's all good. I love Kyle. So, Kyle, you can take up all the space you want on my calls, man. It's all good. I wanted to just ask. We talked enough about the number 2 pick. I wanted to ask. I like Sonny Styles a lot, and he's projected to get picked by either the Buccaneers just before us or maybe the Dallas Cowboys. What do you think are like the chances we can either? I mean, what do you think the chances are we can get him? He's really. I think he's the best. I think he's the best player on Ohio State's defense, and I think he can make a bigger impact on the Jets than a Caleb Downs being a play caller on defense. And like Sherwood's awful at that too, I think. So I just wanted to ask, like, what do you think of the chances that we could either get him or also get him and not with our first pick? Because I'd really like, we want to like not use that number 2 pick on a player like a Mike. But that was just my question. Cheers, you guys. Take care. Happy Friday.
Barbarossa, you're the man. I think they could do that because they have all the ammunition to make a move. They could move up if they love Styles. That's their guy. Now, it's a good linebacker class, right? The linebacker from Georgia could be another option. C.J. Allen. Also, Anthony Hill Jr. from Texas is a guy that I know people are high on. He's a blitzing will linebacker. I mean, Styles could go in the top 10. So you're going to probably have to move up if you want him at 16, realistically. I'm also open to just taking Tate at 2, by the way, if we're talking about Ohio State players. I really am. He's damn good.
Ooh, sexy.
I wouldn't go that far, Beast, but he's a pretty good football player. Really good football player. More of your calls, but first an announcement from the Beast.
Time to grow balls. Grapefruit-sized balls. I don't like grapefruit. I don't like seafood because I get allergic to it. And so I break out in goddamn hives because I got problems with that.
Well said. Jake is up next. Hey, Jake.
What's up, Jake?
What's going on, man?
What's up? I actually know Taylor. We're both from Connecticut. I got to make this quick too. I got a basketball game in like an hour. Can you pull up the list of the DCs that we interviewed?
Sure thing. Here you go.
All right, Ephraim, whatever his name is, DC at Utah State for 2 years. They were terrible.
Which guy?
Covington was with the Ephraim Banda. Was DC at Utah State for 2 years. Terrible. Araujo's never called the defense. He's never even been a pass or run game coordinator. Covington was with the Pats last year. Terrible. Chris Harris, terrible. Jim O'Neill was with the Browns, 2013 and 14, ass. And then with the Niners in 2016, they gave up over 400 yards a game. Martindale
O'Neill was with the Lions last year.
I know. I'm saying when he defense, when he was a defensive coordinator.
Gotcha. So when these
he
guys
was with
were
the Niners in 2016, they were terrible.
Okay.
Daronte Jones, people were saying he's top 30 in the country. When he was at LSU, he was top 30, but in TC, he was 12th out of 14, which is terrible because when you're playing the big dogs in the NFL, you got to be at the top of the pack. And Wink Martindale, we know how he is. So the only real legit name on this list is Leonhard. That's actually called defensive plays. That's done it at a high level. And Araujo's the only guy that hasn't, who would be like worth a shot. So this is like the worst list I've ever seen in my life, except for Jim Leonhard. Basically, like we're screwed. We're gonna win maybe 6 games next year with the divisions we're playing. We're screwed.
That could be generous, by the way.
What's up?
6 wins. That might be generous. 6 wins.
No, I know. Like it's crazy, dude. And so I was for QB really quick because I gotta go. I was thinking we might as well just give Tanner McKee a shot because like like you said, unless we get Chambliss, unless he declares, there's really no point of taking a quarterback or trading up for one. So you might as well just sign McKee instead of one of these veterans. Have fun with it. See what maybe he has like a Darnold season. You know what I'm saying? See if he breaks out. Whatever. See if you got a thing with him. If he doesn't, he sucks. Whatever. We march for Arch. Right? That's what I would do. And I would maybe like bring in a Flacco to back him up just in case or something like that. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm not against the idea of McKee and someone of that ilk, but what are you giving up for him, right? Like, I'm not trading one of my seconds for Tanner McKee, who's a 6th-round pick.
Nah.
They played. And like Eagles fans, like Nick Faria and like Allen, who thinks like Tanner McKee is great. Like, what are you trading to get Tanner McKee? We don't have a 3rd, nor would
I was gonna say maybe a 4th.
That's it. Like I'd give a 4th-round pick for him if I had conviction in him. That's it. I'm not giving more than that for a 6th-round pick who's barely played. And when he did play this year, I went out of my way to tune in because everyone's like, "Oh, Tanner McKee," and he sucked.
Yeah, he wasn't great. He wasn't great against the Commanders. You're talking about, right?
Yeah, I watched that game.
Yeah, and I mean, I thought he was pretty impressive at Stanford. I think the stat was his receivers were like, as a core, they led the country in the least amount of separation, and he led the country in tight window throws or something like that. But I think with a decent, I mean, he did have Kevin Blow call in the game, to be fair, but I get what you're saying. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Fire Aaron Glenn, bring back Rex or something, maybe Gruden. I don't know, somebody legit, McCarthy, anybody else, someone experienced. But yeah, thanks, Jake. Appreciate you.
Jake, excellent call.
Don't let go of the rope. What rope are you talking about? This whole team looks like it's shot to shit. Who the hell you think you are? I am.
Well said, Beast. Kind of where we're at.
This is just a disaster. I'm watching the Golden Boy card, and then once it goes silent, I know you're on me.
I'm gonna get gonorrhea and kiss on the cheek. Yeah. Oh, I got gonorrhea. Oh my God, I got gonorrhea. Kiss my cheek. Gonorrhea. You have to have sex to have gonorrhea.
What a show this has been, huh? Home stretch here. Couple calls left, ladies and gentlemen. He's back.
Do we? Stringing the cheese.
Hello, Beast.
You notice what I'm wearing?
Crispy pizza.
That's right. And remember, no slop jalops, perfect distribution. 100, 112, 124, 126. It's okay. It's all right. Nobody's perfect. My grandfather once said these words to me. You can't win everything every time. That's life. You just got to go with it. Just think of it this way. In 100 years, when we're all dead, who's going to care anyway? Besides the archaeologist.
I got a guy who cares.
Oh, is that Gary's wife?
Oh, dear God.
Hi, Gary's wife.
Who?
Oh, that's shoes.
Who?
Good looking.
Is that Crispy Pizza in Brooklyn, like in Bay Ridge or Dyker Heights or whatever? Like on 13th Avenue? Is that
That's
Crispy
right.
Pizza? Like
That's right. That's right.
How the hell did you get a Crispy Pizza? I know that
I've been watching him for I've been watching for almost months. The guy's got great distribution and their pizzas are fantastic. Hey, don't knock it till you try it, okay?
It's one of the best pizza places in the world. I think it's extraordinary.
I've heard about it. I've been watching these guys for months now because I've been keeping my eye on the prize. How do you think I want to give it another shot? Why do you think I want to give it a try?
How have you been watching them?
I got it on my Instagram. I got it on my YouTube. I got it on my Snapchat. Come on.
Yeah,
it's not rocket science.
Is that the YouTube
Yes,
channel?
Look up Crispy Pizza. It's right in front of you. Duh.
That's one of the Crispy Pizza is like on my list of top 10 to 12 pizza places in the world. Like Crispy Pizza is extraordinary.
Yeah, just like that. Just like the song that you said. Just like the song that you sang. Extraordinary, extraordinary. But I'm gonna say this right here. Let me just tell you this. I've watched all their pizzas, and I'll tell you the ricotta pizza with the hot honey and the pepperoni, delish. Their regular Neapolitan pie pizza. Hey, I like the guy when he says, "Hey, who wants a slice?"
I don't know what you're talking about. But you go
watch the videos more clearly when you get an understanding.
All right. The Palermo is the upside down Sicilian, where the
Neapolitan pie is a regular cheese pizza.
It's a brand new song. Power of dog.
The Palermo. At Crispy Pizza, they call their Sicilian, the traditional Sicilian, which is upside down. They call it the Palermo.
Now, how many years have you been watching boxing? Let me ask you that question. How many years have you watched boxing?
How old am I? 42, so over 30, well over 30, 35, let's say.
So you've watched a lot of people getting punched around from. Let me give you a good little bit list names: Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson, Oscar De La Hoya.
There's Oscar. Oh, you can't see. There's Oscar. I'm like Holyfield. Go ahead. What's up? Proceed.
Who is that? Who is that right there on them on them walls?
That was Oscar. That's me. That's me and Oscar.
Okay. What about the one up right above Oscar?
Rejected. Sorry.
That's the GOAT. Above Oscar, it's the GOAT. That's Roy Jones.
I've heard, okay, that's a familiar name. The great Roy Jones.
The GOAT, the greatest ever. Who beats a prime Roy Jones? Nobody beats a prime Roy Jones.
Well, I'll tell you, one of my favorite fighters was Mike Tyson. Tyson was the kind of guy, you don't want to get into a dogfight with him. And how about another great name that you might? Let's see if you remember Thomas the Hitman Hearns.
Yeah, I know Tommy Hearns. These are all guys.
Happy New Year!
My favorite four Kings is Duran, though. I'm a big Duran guy.
Well, let's see who for World Cup. Who do you think's going to win this year's World Cup? Because I've been keeping my
Argentina.
I've been keeping my eye on my team.
I know Italy.
I'm keeping my eyes are on England. My eyes are on England because the last few years I've watched England dominate. 2018 when they were in Russia, they were fourth best because look who they had.
I have no idea who's going to win the World Cup.
Time to grow balls, grapefruit-sized balls. I don't like grapefruit. I don't like seafood because I get allergic to it, and so I break out in goddamn hives because I got problems with that.
All right, we're going to get to the raffle shortly. Let me shout out Derek, the Jet fan. He gifted a membership. He's in the raffle for one, and Derek will be the last call before we spin the wheel for a Jets Legends jersey. Hello, Derek.
Hey, Jake. Can you hear me okay? My Wi-Fi's been acting up today.
We got you, Derek. What's going on, man?
You got me? Doing good, man. I just went outside after I got home, and I checked the mail, and I got my fresh little Curtis Martin helmet in the mail.
That was quick. Let's go.
I just wanted to send a quick shout. Hell yeah. I appreciate you so much, man. Ben YouTube, you're my favorite Jets content creator. Love the show. Thank you so much for always having me on. Everybody in the community is positive to me. I just wanted to hop on here real quick for you, Hoff, and just wanted to thank everybody in the all the Asmaniacs, you for your show and letting me be a part of it. And I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, man. Let's enjoy these playoff games. It's going to be good.
Derek, you're the man. Thanks for the kind words. I'm glad your Curtis Martin helmet arrived safely. Let's go Texans. And obviously the first game tomorrow. Let's go Broncos. Enough said. Bet on the games with FanDuel. I might do the old emotional hedge and bet Buffalo, so I hope Denver wins. I do think the Niners are going to play it close with Seattle. I don't know why that line is 7. I know the Niners don't have Kittle. I get it. But they've been dealing with injuries all year. They have Shanahan. They have Saleh. And I'm not saying that as a joke. Like, Saleh is a phenomenal defensive coordinator. I think the Niners will keep it within a touchdown. Texans getting 3. I like the defense, but can Stroud show up? That's the key to that game. And look, Rams-Bears. Bears love to play these close games. Rams can run the ball. I know it's going to be cold weather in Chicago. I think they're the better team. So we'll see. Black Gypsy, he's in the raffle for one for a jersey. Black Gypsy, you're the man.
Tweet. Stringing the cheese.
He's stringing that cheese. Don't really know what that means. Thank you, Beast. Black Gypsy, your membership went to Taylor D'Onofrio, who just called him earlier. So how about that? All right, I'm counting raffle names here. Yvonne writes in, Jake Chambliss suing the NCAA. What happened here? Did you hear about this? I think I saw this report. He's threatening to sue if he's not approved. Also, what the hell is happening here with John Harbaugh and the Giants? I'll laugh my ass off if they end up not getting him signed. He still hasn't officially signed his deal, and they're having issues like finalizing the contract. Like every Giant reporter is talking about this. All the reporters bending over backwards to write like these, these stories on the Giants restoring order and getting Harbaugh, and it would be hilarious if they don't end up getting him. Then the Jets need to swoop in and say, oh, yeah? Come work for us. Which will be my fan fiction for the evening. But no, it's still not a signed deal. I'm reading all the tweets. Ian O'Connor, sounds like Harbaugh and the Giants might take this deep into tonight, more likely tomorrow. Things are still okay, hanging there. Still a lot to review on the contract. John and Joe Shane have gotten along. Can't see this unraveling. Both sides know too much at stake. Jordan Ronan, my understanding is the Giants and John Harbaugh's side are working through organizational and operational issues. Still a gap to close before the deal is signed and sealed. How is this not done? What could possibly be the issue? Joe Shane actually wants final say on personnel? Bro, you've won 6 games the last 2 years. You're lucky you have a job. Like, dump Shane in 2 seconds and let Harbaugh pick a personnel guy. What are we doing? Also, just to follow up more on this Trinidad lawsuit, his lawyers have officially filed a suit for an injunction in the state court in Mississippi for his eligibility for 2026. The lawsuit is in Chancery Court, Lafayette County, which is where Oxford is located. Chancery courts are the only ones authorized to grant injunctions in Missouri. He's trying to get a 6th year of eligibility because he knows if he goes back to college, he can make a ton of money in NIL and raise his draft stock. I'm looking forward to seeing people say that this is he's suing the NCAA so he could avoid the Jets. I see veteran Jeff Henry beat me to that joke in the comments. He's suing the NCAA to avoid the Jets. Yeah, I think this gets done. So I wouldn't read one way into another here. Like I think he'll ultimately be granted another year, and if he's not, he'll be in the draft. And I don't think the Jets would take him at 2. I don't think they take him at 16. The earliest they might take him would be 33, but things can change. On that note, are we ready for the Asmaniac raffle? I think a lot of you are. I know I am. But first, let's reflect back on a great Jet season. We go live to Aaron Glenn at the podium highlighting one of the positives.
The field goal team. Last year we had 3 blocks. This year, we had no blocks.
Field goal protection champions. Don't you forget it, Jet fans. All right. It is raffle time. We're going to give away a Jets Legends jersey of your choosing. But first, we have to say hello to our master of ceremony.
Let's go, Jets! Let's go, Jets! Let's go, Jets! Let's go, Jets!
In the words of the great Howard Finkel, it is now time for the 2026 Wheel of Champions!
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
Oh, baby, here we go. A spin to determine who wins a Jets jersey. If you win, email me, asmanjake@gmail.com. Your name, your address, the player you want the jersey in, the size you want it in, and we'll get it ordered for you over the weekend. Here we go. Our final raffle of the week. The winner is Luis Caez. Luis, I know you were watching the show earlier because you commented that you bought a shirt. That got you 5 entries, and you are the winner. Give it up for Luis in the chat. This is for you. Luis, thank you very much. On that note, That does it for the show. Thank you to Nick Faria, who joined us. Thank you to everyone who tuned in this week. Should there be breaking Jets news, we'll be here over the weekend. If not, enjoy the football this weekend. Join the Patreon and get in the Discord if you haven't already. That is the place to be. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Of course, if you want to get your merch, jakeasman.com/shop. When you join the Patreon, you get 20% off. You can even get a March for Art shirt, which is available now in our store. Again, you guys are the best. Thank you for being tuned in. Like the video before you go. That's that thumbs up button. Of course, hit the subscribe button if you haven't been a subscriber to the channel. On that note, I will talk to you guys soon. I leave you all with a short clip. JETS, 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 Jets. Joining us right now is a new member of the ESPN family. He's also an
Nobody gives a shit.
Hold on. I'm having some glitches here, Rich.
Oh, that was great. That was perfect. Nobody gives a shit.
Look, we got Tomlinson. He ain't getting out of here. Get comfortable, pal, because as soon as Woody wakes up, he's going to make you a rich man.
Oh, hi. Jake wants me to ask you to click on the like button.
That's right, Lane. And if they don't subscribe to the Jake Asman Show, this team may never win another game. Let's go, Jets.